Activision devs do not play their own game. It's not your dad. Your dad doesn't support you.
You should know. You worked at a coffee shop, you stupid bitch.
My name is Casey, and absolutely not fucking Tanner, because my parents don't hate me that much.
Hey, did they have just 8 patches lined up, but they just didn't release them because they were on break? No, you moron kids.
Then we'll, of course, get into it. Change your fucking name and get scammed. He's feeling under the weather.
I probably won't say another word until Stay Humble, so have a good pod, Raz. I'll be here listening.
Got it. We are live. Welcome, boys and girls, to the Dropshot Call of Duty podcast, episode number 248. My name's Casey, also known as Razinon. I'm joined, as always, by drinking pistachios, Tanner. How are those pistachios? How's the pistachio drink you're imbibing? Super good, huh?
You guys like pistachios? Try the Wonderful brand. Get them at Sam's Club. Probably Costco has them. No shells, chili roasted pistachios. Oh my god, they're so good. They're bursting with the big, bold flavors of red pepper, garlic, and vinegar to tingle your tongue.
That does sound good.
Holy fuck. I can't believe how good it is. I really can't.
What kind of nutritional content are we working with on a pistachio?
Let's take a look.
Because I know almonds are like really good for you.
Serving size is a quarter cup.
Okay.
Rocking 170 calories.
Okay.
A lot of fats. Ooh, a lot of fats. A lot of
fats.
monosaturated, polysaturated, trans fat, saturated fat. A lot of fiber.
Non-binary fats.
A lot of protein and quite a few vitamins in there. Oh, some metals. We got some copper.
What kind of protein and fiber are we working with?
6 grams.
Of protein?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Fiber. Where'd the fiber go? 3 grams.
And then sugars?
Like none. Less than 1 gram.
Carbs?
Carbs, 2% total carbs, 6 grams.
That's not bad at all. Yeah.
Pretty good.
That's a real good keto snack, I would imagine.
Well,
I think almonds have a ton of protein, right?
Almonds taste like dog shit, though. Almonds are fucking
probably
trash.
Why they're better for you, yeah.
Yeah.
Why can't things that are good for you also taste good, man? So simple. Make stupid bodies, dude.
Yeah.
And don't describe to me the evolution on why we like sugar. I know. Okay, it's just a quip. Welcome to the show. Today, we are not talking about nuts. As much as many of you like nuts, probably. It's fine. Instead, we're talking about Call of Duty. So, our plan for today is to do a kind of a different type of episode. Frankly, I don't normally like doing these types of episodes. I think they're kind of pissing in the wind and masturbatory, but we are going to try it anyway, for a couple reasons. Other people do them, and their audiences seem to like them. And another reason is we weren't sure what else we wanted to do, because the other topic that we had been thinking about doing today was an episode topic we've already kind of mentioned, which, hold on. Oh yeah.
You guys had a burp, man?
No, that was a fart.
Oh. Serious, man?
And fuck that dumb bitch. Once again.
Fuck Red Stiletto. On
Red
TikTok.
Stiletto, yeah. Suck on my cock and
I feel
balls.
like that's probably not the name at all. I don't know why that comes to mind,
I
though.
don't think it is.
I don't think Red's in
know.
the name, and I don't think Stiletto was. I don't know why I keep thinking that.
Whoever it is a lunatic. But anyways, yeah, the other topic we kind of wanted to do today was the leaks overview with respect to MW2 and Warzone 2, but we still want to save it for longer. We want to wait longer. We really have not gotten any big leaks in the past, 2 weeks. Well, we got all those maps, but we want more before we go into that episode, which we could have done today. There is enough out there, but the longer we wait, the better of a picture we can kind of draw. And so we're going to wait as a result of that. Because one thing having done this now for, the release of 3 games, Call of Duty games, you get to notice some patterns. One of those is that there is always a couple months before release a very big info massive dump.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be even more true now that the unified engine is like, you can like data mine COD Mobile to get details on MW2 now. So like, that's even more true now. There's going to be some day, fairly soon, I would imagine, where a fuck ton of information comes out. That's what we want to wait for before we do that episode. So what we're going to do today is a Call of Duty wish list. These are things we want, things we don't want, what we would like to see for the next game. We're going to focus primarily on multiplayer, because things we want for Warzone, there's so much going on with Warzone that it's and we
don't even know like the premises of how Warzone's going to work yet. It's too
like
far
the bag
away.
System, I don't even know what I want.
It's like
I don't even know what
multiplayer.
that is.
Yeah, and like multiplayer is gonna be COD multiplayer. There's
exactly yes,
not much is gonna change. Whereas it sounds like
exactly.
Warzone could actually make a drastic change compared to how it is now. It'd be a totally different game in almost every sense. So, and yeah, like you said, I don't think we've really ever done an episode like this. It's more because we haven't wanted to. But we're gonna try it. We
think of the idea, and then we're like, "This is a waste of time."
We thought of this idea a lot. We thought about this for Patreon a lot. So we're going to try it. If you guys like it, cool. We'll do one for Warzone at some point. If you guys don't like it, then we tried it and we won't do an episode like this again.
Yeah. Exclusive Ace does these a lot. Like his like wish list for, or like things I want to see out of MW2, Warzone 2, Season 5 even. And those videos do pretty well. He keeps doing them, which implies that his audience likes them. So after having seen that for so long, I'm like, all right, let's give it a shot. And maybe you guys will like it, maybe you won't. So a couple of kind of things to lay out before we get into it. We're going to not say like, oh, we want, I don't know, only 3-lane maps. Because they're not going to do that. So we're not going to put on this wish list things that are just wildly unrealistic, or like, oh, we want to be able to disable cross input matchmaking, but enable cross platform matchmaking. So only controller versus other controller or something. I do want that, but it's never happening. It's not even close to being possible. So we're not going to like talk about it. If we do, we will be sure to underscore that with, this is never happening, but, you know what I mean? So we're not going to wish for things that are just wildly unrealistic. Some of these are fairly unrealistic, but we'll get into how likely each and everything is on this list as we talk about them. But just be like, oh, well, if you're just making up a game, why don't you say that you want to bring back jetpacks? Maybe I would want that. I wouldn't. But if I did, not going to ask for it. Not going to talk about it in the episode because it's definitely never happening. So that would be absolutely pissing in the wind. So there's just to put that out there. Yeah. These are things that are like somewhat realistic that we're hoping.
I actually wrote some things down that I said are like wish list items but are far from likely, because I think it is interesting to talk about some of those things, because it's wish list items that have been in the games before and were excellent additions, but they've just disappeared from the game for various reasons. So we'll talk about a few of those, because it is interesting to hear about and weird to see like things that have been in past games or things you want that sound so simple and we've never seen in a Call of Duty game.
Here's another one.
So
yeah. So yeah, like I said, we will include some of those things that are just absolutely not happening. But if we do, we'll be sure to like let you know that like we know this isn't happening, but we would like it. But a lot of this episode is not going to be that, because it would be just a waste of time. But anyways, with that said, before anything else, do we have any announcements?
I don't think so. tonight.
The Damascus patrons tonight.
Out in 5
Said that.
hours. Patrons who don't have any episodes, sorry, they're all coming next week. So we have 4 to do this next week. So Gold's gotten 1 episode this month, but you guys will get them all. Don't worry. So they're all coming.
You will
next
get
week.
them all. Yeah, that is the nature of the beast with Patreon. We've tried being like, oh, we'll just do 1 every week. We should really do that. Because as a listener, I would like that too. But hey, we're on Call of Duty season release schedule, not on our own schedule. So we're not going to do 4 brainstorms in a row just because there's no new content in Warzone. That would be fucking you guys over more than making you wait until the new content where we can talk about different new things. So that's what we're going to do again. And yeah, sorry, but we've thought we could do an episode every week. It would be worse content for you guys. That's why we don't. So there you go. Yeah. All right. Let's get into it. So we've broken this up into a few different headings. Things we don't want, things we do want,
no jingle,
things we don't
really
give a flying fuck about, whether or not they're there, and then things we want that are just super unlikely. I guess I should. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah. And there's going to be some crossover with these, so just bear with us. These are loose categorizations. So starting, things we don't want. Number 1 on my list. Oh, these are all, I have 3 things written down here. These are all under the same umbrella. Okay. Here are the 3 first things I don't want. Particles, dust, and a sun. Don't want any of them.
You don't like the sun, man?
I don't want the sun. Don't want it in real life. I burn easily. So what? Don't want it in my game either. So all of these are things I don't want, and the reason I don't want these 3 things, they're all the same reason. And we can add a 4th. Just visual dog shit clutter. So trash that's like blowing in the wind that adds to my realism and immersion. No, fuck you. Clean it up. If we're playing Favela again, I want it to be spotless. I want no trash. Oh, but a Favela wouldn't look like this. I don't care. I want more frames. I don't want trash. I don't want it to look realistic while I'm getting fucked in the ass because my game is stuttering. So fuck trash also.
Damn.
Particles, dust, sun. I don't want any of them for a couple of reasons. The particles and the dust, they just ruin your performance for no discernible reason. Like, oh, it looks more realistic, but also you're going to get 30 fewer frames than if the dust were not floating around on the map. This is stupid. Why are we doing that? But since I have an RTX 3090 graphical processing unit, FTW3 Ultra Edition, of course. So it's not that big of a deal for me, but it is for consoles. But more importantly for me, as an FTW3 3090 graphical processing unit designed by NVIDIA, the reason I don't want this is I can't see people when there's dust everywhere and particles everywhere. Just ruins your visibility for no reason. Classic prime example that we'd love to go to, MW 2019 Rust. Terrible, terrible visibility. And it doesn't even look good.
Oh my god. I forgot how bad Rust was. I was like trying to think of the MW visibility, and I was thinking like Euphrates Bridge with the shit floating in the air. Rust was the worst. Rust was the most prime example of MW 2019 ruining a map with the dog shit visibility, because that had everything. It had floating dust. It had particles in the air.
It had the trifecta, dude.
And it had the sun. It was the worst, man. That one was crazy. That one was, dude, Rust was so bad. Oh my god. Rust is a dog shit map in general, but oh my god, they made it fucking terrible. Yeah. When I went back and I was playing Shipment to like, I don't level or unlock something a month or 2 ago, I can't believe how even on Shipment you look one direction on MW 2019 and just the sun glare, you can hardly see anything looking that way. I really don't get why so few people complained about that. Like, people thought we are crazy when we bitched about the sun visibility in Warzone. And like, it's not that bad. You're fucking out of your mind. You really are. You can't even play Shipment in MW 2019 and look one direction without being blinded by the sun. And you're just fucking... You have no awareness. You're brain dead if you don't notice something like that, because there's no excuse for it. It was horrendous.
Yeah, you're just not staying alive long enough to get into situations where you lost a gunfight to the sun glare.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It's a self-report, as the kids have been saying these days. That's a common phrase right now, self-report. If you think the sun is not a big deal, that's a self-report. If you think the footstep audio is fine, that's a self-report, right? You're not telling me anything about the sun or the footstep audio. You're telling me a lot about yourself, though, aren't you? So, oops. I think the worst example of the sun glare in MW 2019 is actually Candor Hideout. If you stand in the street on one end of that map and look down it, see ya. You're so fucked. You can't see anything. The sun is like all up in your business. Now, should you be standing in the middle of the street? Probably not. But still... that shouldn't be an issue anyway. And I think the sun, unlike the particles in the dust, which is a problem on a good number of MW maps, but not all of them, the sun is a problem on pretty much every single one of them. But the degree to which it's a problem varies. I guess on Piccadilly it's not a problem, but Piccadilly's got other problems, doesn't it? So
Yeah.
I think Candor is like probably the worst example, but yeah, there might be others, but it's terrible and it's stupid. It's like the sun looks good. Cool, man. Save it for campaign. It's just so simple to me.
Yeah, save all that stuff for campaign.
Yeah, exactly. All of this is in the same umbrella of, I don't want you pieces of shit at Activision to add things to the multiplayer map, or experience rather, all of them, that add realism at the cost of competitive integrity. And particles, dust, and sun glare are three such of those things.
Yeah.
And performance as well, yeah. And not to mention the impact, the performance impact, yeah. So don't do that. Save it for the campaign. Make the campaign look real. And I'll play campaign at 80 frames, literally, and I'll be fine with it. If it looks really cool and the performance is terrible, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Yeah. The AI is not going to kill me. But in multiplayer, if I die because I'm stuttering because you designed a dog shit map, well, then I'm furious. So anyway, yeah.
Yeah, the other, what was the map in Vanguard? Oh my God. What was the map where the sun was in your eyes? And there was like screenshots of Swag screen and you literally could not.
Oh, that was
dog shit map.
Gavutu. Yeah.
Oh my, they did it again with Gavutu. So I don't remember Cold War really having this issue.
Bad. I played Cold War 3 times.
I played Cold War about 3 times, yeah, but I don't remember Cold War having this issue. But Vanguard, they brought it back again. Is good. They brought it back again, man. Like all of the maps on Vanguard, it was the same shit in the beta, and like the sun glare was like, it put like a rainbow on your screen. And I legitimately can't believe anyone played that game and tested that, and no one's like spoke up and was like, this kind of makes the experience dog shit. And they didn't figure that out until it was like a public beta.
Do not play their own game.
Till it was like a public beta, or like I think actually maybe it wasn't even fixed until after like a couple days after the game launched. I don't remember, but it's just, what are playtesters doing if they can't see the most obvious thing of the sun? Literally in Vanguard, it was horrendous. So are they going to make this mistake again? Probably.
That's so crazy to me.
It's just year after year is what they do. They make the same mistakes year after year. I don't understand it. So, you know, let the sun blind me. Let there be particles all in the air in campaign. Don't do that shit in multiplayer. Nobody wants that. It's ruining the experience. It's giving less frames for the console players especially. I mean, just so many things wrong with it. Like you said, for what reason? You guys want to make something really pretty, do it in the campaign. That's the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
And they do. The MW 2019 campaign was excellent looking.
Yeah, it looked really cool. And like there were like night missions where the visibility was terrible because it was at night. And I loved it because it was immersive. You were like sneaking around all quietly. You had the nods, the night vision shit. That shit's cool and immersive and it looks pretty and it's fun as fuck to do. And I really enjoy it. But I'm not LARPing anymore when I'm going to try and get my 15th, like 20 kill streak or whatever for a calling card. I'm done with nods now. So stop it.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
Next.
Okay.
Thing we don't want. Dead silence. So Tanner has some caveats here. I don't want it at all. I think it's a dumb fucking mechanic. Part of playing an FPS game is having awareness and like listening for things and hearing things.
Agreed.
And I think that a game that did this really well, actually, for multiplayer, was BO4. I believe BO4 had a dead silence perk, I think.
I don't even remember.
And like no one ran it. And the reason no one ran it is that footsteps were not that loud in that game. And you might think that I would hate that, but they weren't so quiet that you wouldn't hear people sprinting. You would hear them, but they would have to be like pretty close and it'd have to be fairly quiet to hear them. And what that ended up making happen is that no one felt like they had to run dead silence, so they didn't. And then I could hear people most of the time. I, in fact, cannot think of a single time ever where I complained that I didn't hear someone in BO4. Now, another reason for that is because BO4 had a normal-ass minimap. So you know where people are. And I played the ever-living fuck out of that game. It was sixes. You know where spawns are. You kind of get a feel for it. But I don't want dead silence at all. I think it's stupid. I think dead silence, along with ghost, I think these are dumb mechanics that shouldn't be in the game in any form at all. Now, ghost will absolutely be in the game, and dead silence almost certainly also will. So this is kind of a throwaway comment, but when dead silence is included, I hope its impact is minimal.
So BO4, wasn't it no one ran it because of the
Pick 10 system too?
Yeah.
Maybe?
I mean, we like a lot of times would run like one or two perks or something, wouldn't we?
Yep.
So I think that's the other reason too, why people wouldn't run it. But yeah, I could say, I don't know. There's so many things to say about Dead Silence. And honestly, the game that did it the best for me is MDub 2019. I think having it as a field upgrade with a fast cooldown that it had was not that much different than having it as a perk. And it did make you have to like think and choose when you would use something like that because you couldn't just pop it. But if you popped that sucker and got kills, it would refresh it. I mean, you could keep that thing going for literally minutes if you're killing people a lot. So it's like, I think they did the system the best. But yeah, there's just a million things I could say about Dead Silence and Ninja. The one argument people always have is that it promotes camping. It's literally not true. COD players that camp are going to camp whether or not they have Dead Silence. People that sit in a corner are going to sit in that corner no matter what perk they have. That's
exactly.
You can see that in Warzone. You can see that in any COD multiplayer game ever. So that argument just isn't true, and I flat out don't believe that. I'll just read what I wrote. Like, I like it as a field upgrade, but I've come to not care as much as I once did. Like, I always use COD 4 as an example of not liking it because that was banned in League play on PC. Why? Because it's a cringe, stupid perk. And if you wanted to not make footsteps in COD 4, if you ADS'd and walked, you didn't make sound anyways. So it's like, you don't need something like that in the game because it's cheesy. There's no... I don't know. I just don't understand why so many people like it. There's no outplay potential from someone spawning behind you, running up behind you, and shooting you in the back, and you not being able to know. The outplay potential is you hearing their footsteps, having the awareness to determine, oh shit, there's footsteps behind me, and I turn around and gun this guy down. That's where the outplay lies. It's a cringe dog shit perk, and I think kids need to grow up and stop liking it. It's not a balanced perk. It's the worst perk in Call of Duty. But that being said, it's a different experience now than it once was. Like in, playing private lobbies like that, if you had Ninja Dead Silence, it would be very broken because there was like not many sounds going on the map. But now, Ground War, 10v10, 10 kill streaks going off at once, grenades going off, cars driving by, helicopters. It's kind of almost become a non-issue because you don't hear footstep audio anyways. Like, this is exactly how Vanguard is. And so that's why Ninja just isn't a big issue in that game. There's so many sounds going off. There's flames on my screen, so I can't hear or see anyways. And, there's like low footstep audio in that game anyway. So it's just like a non-issue. So I would much rather not have it in the game. But in a game like Vanguard, the perk literally doesn't matter because you don't hear a goddamn thing anyway. So if they design MW 2 like that, then I won't care. But if it's like MW 2019 footstep audio, which is pretty loud, and then people are all running around a Ninja, the whole lobby has a Ninja, that's not fun to play against. There's no outplay potential like you're saying. There's nothing skillful about running Ninja. I don't care what people say. There's nothing skillful about getting a lucky spawn, spawning behind someone on these dog shit maps that Infinity Ward designs, running up behind them and have no way of outplaying them or no way of knowing they were there.
Exactly.
It's just, it's a crutch shitter perk that shouldn't be in the game, I think. And it literally blows my mind that like even like CDL players want. I don't get it. I will never understand that. I just never will.
Yeah.
It's just a stupid perk. So yeah, I would love to not have it in the game. Unfortunately, it's already been leaked that it is coming. It could be as a field upgrade. Who knows? But
yeah,
I'm guessing it'll just be a
kids
perk.
like it too
The
much.
other thing is too though about it maybe being a non-issue now. If it's in a category with like 2 or 3 other really good perks, then less people will run it, and then that's fine with me. And that's kind of how Ninja has become in Vanguard too. In pubs, I feel like people don't really run it because there's better things to run in that category, and then you don't hear the footsteps anyways.
Yeah, is like if you have to drop like, I don't know, what's a good multiplayer perk? Like EOD. Like if you have to drop that to run Dead Silence, like that's a fairly big cost. So like, okay, or if you have to drop like Amped or I don't know. I haven't played multiplayer in a while. What would be a good, the best multiplayer perks usually like Ghost. Typically.
Yeah.
Right? Or like Restock. Something like that. If you have to like drop something good to run Dead Silence, I'll be less annoyed when someone spawns behind me and kills me and I had no way of possibly ever not dying there. Because at least I'll know that they had to sacrifice something, but it's still dumb. Yeah, for sure. Next, things I don't want. Maps that are unique, that are visionary, that are different, that are experimental, that are...
Piccadilly, Euphrates.
I don't want maps that are trying to be groundbreaking or trailblazing or somehow, again, unique or different in any way. I don't want that. I don't want anyone... we're done experimenting with FPS multiplayer maps. I'm done with it. I'm done experimenting. What if we made them more porous? How'd that experiment go? What if we made them more vertical? How'd that experiment go? All bad. Okay? We know what multiplayer maps work and are good. And now we're done trying new things. Stop trying new things. Make normal fucking 3-lane maps that have 2 levels maybe. That's all I want. I don't want new fun and exciting maps. I don't want a rotating fucking cylinder at mid where, like, if you time it right, you can, I don't know, whatever, get around faster or something. I don't want one-way glass, like a interrogation room where people can sit in and like, oh, this is such a cool, interesting, fun dynamic we've added to this multiplayer experience. Go fuck yourself. I don't want new experiences with my maps anymore. I'm done with new experiences. They've all failed catastrophically. If you want to bring a new, unique, different style of map to a Call of Duty game that is not a traditional 3-lane map and is still good, here's what you do. Remaster a map that a different design team, who is now retired, hopefully, with millions of dollars in an estate somewhere, as they deserve to be, unlike the current dev studios who are designing maps, use their maps when your studio used to have good map designers and bring those in. So what would be an example of a map like that? Maybe firing range. This is not a 3-lane map by any stretch of the imagination. It's got a lot of shit going on. It actually kind of is a 3-lane map, depending on how you orient it. What's another good map that's not 3 lanes, Tanner? There have been plenty, and I can't.
Good, not 3 lane. I mean, not really. The basis of all of them is 3 lanes.
No, there have been really good non-3-lane maps for sure. Let me look it up. MW2 maps.
I'm looking at MW like 2019, for example. Every map that's decent is 3 lanes.
Don't look to MW 2019 for good maps. That's not what I'm asking. I'm saying old COD maps that were not 3 lanes that were still good. Favela. Favela is fairly porous, not really 3 lanes, still a good map. Here's what I don't want you guys to try something like that again. You can't do it. The current people who work in your departments are not good at their jobs. People used to be, use their designs, remaster them. If you want to make an original map, make it exactly 3 lanes. That's what I want. We're done trying new experiments.
Well, they've made so many maps at this point too. It's like you're out of ideas of how to make a good map, which is why they always should just go back to doing like the 3-lane system. Like, yeah, like they tried to get crazy with MW 2019 maps. Arklov. Azir is actually
example too.
Azir is actually like a 3-lane map, really. But the 1 lane in the cave just ruins the entire map. If Azir didn't have a cave and that was like a desert 3-lane map, it would literally be it would play totally different, actually be pretty good. Grozna Raid.
Yeah.
Not a 3-lane map, dog shit.
It's a 5-lane map. It's so
Piccadilly, dog shit. Euphrates Bridge, dog shit, but fun because it was so bad. And then it's like the maps they did well. You know, what are some of them? Atlas Superstore, mostly 3-lane, kind of just straight on. Shoot House,
the most typical 3-lane map you could possibly design, and it was good. Shocker.
Candor Hideout, 3-lane map. What else here? A lot of remakes. Cheshire Park, that was a 3-lane map. So yeah, there's just
good.
Yeah, not bad. So it's just it's easier to design a 3-lane map that flows and plays better. You start designing these like large, just square maps that don't have a flow, and then you get put in like just people sitting in weird corners. That's why people sat in corners in MDub, because of the map design. It's not because the game didn't have Ninja.
Absolutely true.
And so
absolutely true.
That's the biggest thing, is that there's no flow to the map. People don't know where players are coming from, where you're gonna go, what angles to watch. They end up just sitting in a corner and like waiting for someone to run by. That's why it's dog shit. So yeah, that's
the best explanation of why people camp at MDub is the map design.
Yeah, and this is why people that hate on remade maps. I mean, I don't want 30 remakes in MDub too, but I mean, the game would be better than if they just designed maps actually.
You're right.
But
I used to have the opinion that I want all remastered maps. I don't feel that way anymore, because every once in a while they do make a new map that's like really fun, and I'm glad they made it. Shoot House would be the example for MDub 2019.
Yeah.
By the way, a classic map that was not 3 lanes that was excellent, Terminal is like the best example. Terminal is absolutely not 3 lanes. It's a disaster, really. I mean, the fact that map is good is shocking to me, but it is good. It plays well. And my point again is that the people who made Terminal, those people don't work at Infinity Ward anymore. And whoever the fuck makes maps in Infinity Ward now, these people, first of all, they should be fired, and they should lose all of their health insurance, every insurance they have. Second of all, they shouldn't be allowed to try to design maps that are not 3 lanes, hoping for another new original Terminal. You guys can't do it. If the old studio was here, make another Terminal, sure. You guys can't, though. So if you want a Terminal-like map, then bring back Terminal. If you want to make an original map, again, make a 3-lane map. And you're absolutely right about why people camp so much in MDub 2019. I'm with you on this point. The addition of Dead Silence is not going to make players who don't normally camp into campers. However, Grozna Raid will make people who are not normally campers into campers. Because if you move your character on Grozna Raid, you're dead instantly. How do I know this? Me. I'm that
You
guy.
had about a 0.3 KD on that map.
If you moved your character, it was a 0.03. Yeah. I'm not a camper. I don't like camping. It's fucking boring, especially in multiplayer. Why are you doing that? But if I had the distinct displeasure of being forced by my shit friends to actually play a match of Grozna Raid, guess what I was doing? Camping. Because I had no choice but to.
Yeah.
So you can force players who are not normally campers to camp with bad map design, making everyone's gameplay experience worse. But Dead Silence is not going to do that. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Because on a 3-lane map, it's like, I think of slums. If I'm pushing like left lane, I don't have to worry about 5 different angles I can get shot from. You know? I have to worry about in front of me, to my right, if there's a doorway there, but often not even to my right. And then behind me, if someone's sneaking up behind me. That's 2 or 3 vulnerabilities. On Grozna Raid, run down the lane 2 or 4 of that map. How many areas?
I'm a big
can
lane
you be
7
shot from?
fan. Like lane 7 the best.
Lane 7, yeah. There are actually 5. I've counted it. There's the God, that map is so fucking bad. And it's entirely
and then
too
someone
big even.
and then someone will be rolling through with an
Entirely too
APC.
big, dude. Do you remember dying on Grozna and you spawned in that back fucking corner on the trench side?
Yeah.
But in the corner?
Yeah.
And it would take you literally 40 seconds to see even a teammate again. God, that map was so bad. But here are the 5 lanes. Trench side, okay. Then through the buildings, then down mid, then through the street on the, like, closer to the other side, and then down the buildings farther against that wall. 5 lanes. 5 fucking lanes. And 2 or 3 stories. There are some areas that are 3 stories, some are 2. How are you going to move down lane 2 in that case?
Yeah. And then at the end of one of those lanes, there's a doorway on the same level as the street, and then there's windows up on a 3rd story of a building at the end. Yep. Hey, great design for a cool campaign mission, doesn't play well in like a 6s or 10s multiplayer experience.
Absolutely.
So the worst part was playing 6's headquarters on Grozna Raid. It would take 30 seconds to get to the next headquarters. The next team already had it held down. You'd push in, they would kill you once, the headquarters would be theirs. It was that simple. It was, yeah. But yeah, I'm with you. Oh, and the other thing that you had just said about like the map design, going back to Dead Silence. Yeah, it's like kids that sit, or they're not kids, it's usually grown men sitting in corners. They're not
grown ass.
They're not good enough to determine the reason they're sitting in a corner is because their footstep audio is too loud. That's a dumb thing to say. That's what like the CDL kids always bring up. It's like, no. Someone sitting in a corner isn't good enough to even be thinking about that or determining that. You have over a 2 KD in multiplayer. You can't be saying that for them. They have a 0.2 KD. They're sitting in a corner because they know they're going to lose every gunfight, and that's their only chance to win a gunfight is wait for someone to run by them. They're not sitting in a corner because they don't have Ninja or Dead Silence and because the footstep audio is loud. They're literally not good enough to determine that's what the reason they're sitting in a corner for. So that's not changing anything. They're sitting in a corner because they're dog shit and they can't win gunfights. That's the reason they do it. It has nothing to do with Dead Silence or Ninja ever. I just refuse to believe that's the reason.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, when it comes to the maps, yeah, MDub 2019 actually ended up coming out with some pretty good maps later on. The launch maps were absolutely horrendous. Probably the worst launch maps
of any COD game, of any
recent COD. You know, and then season 1 came back pretty strong because we got Crash, Shipment, Vacant. And then you have season
3 remakes of
we got 3 remakes.
Maps, yeah.
I guarantee, by the way, that was not planned to all come out in the same season 1. They probably did that because everyone's bitching about the maps. So they're like, okay, here's 3 maps we know you guys like to hold you over. You know, and then season 2, we ended up getting Atlas Superstore and then Candor Hideout, which were both really good multiplayer maps in my opinion. So, you know, they ended up getting a lot better. Cheshire Park, pretty good. Sawmill, not a bad map. Not my favorite, but
I like Sawmill.
Sawmill's
I think
like
it's a pretty good map.
Sawmill's like a great, like, medium grade map. That's not usually going to be someone's favorite, but it's definitely not like a bottom 5 map in a video game. It's just like that perfect middle ground.
You're like, okay. You do that. You say, okay, we can play this. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Upper mid.
So yeah, just stick with basic maps that are easy to design. 3-lane maps are what is easy to design, you know?
Yeah, because you guys can't make maps anymore. So stop trying. Make a 3-lane map. It's a template that works. And fuck you. And go get the people who designed good maps 10 years ago out of retirement. I mean, you guys are making, what, 5 billion a day in microtransactions? You could get some actually competent map designers back on staff, right? Let's do that. Cool. So back to the thesis again, things we do not want: maps that are unique, visionary, or different. I don't want them. Remaster unique maps. Design original, normal, standard 3-lane maps in the daytime with no dust and no sun. Simple. Next, things we don't want. This is a joke. SBMM. Now, actually, I don't want SBMM, but it's never, ever going anywhere, so this doesn't matter, but I don't want it.
Yeah. I don't know how much fun we'd actually have.
It would be insane. It would be insane how fun that would be. To be like, to not know how good your opponents are going to be every game, that would be really fun. Because that's what COD used to be. Be like, oh, these kids were terrible. Or like, oh, these kids were fucking insane, like way better than us. Or like, oh, there's like 2 really good players on their team and everyone else is kind of dog shit. Those were so fun and the variety was so cool. And it's gone now. And it'll never come back.
Gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, well, we played against good players all the time in PO4. It was just...
Yeah, for sure.
You'd play against demons 3 games in a row. You'd go back and forth. You'd win 1, they'd win 2. They'd leave the lobby. You'd play against a bunch of shitters for 2 or 3 games. It'd be fun. Then you'd get put up against Cubas and his 5-stack or something. You know?
Exactly.
His level 1,000 5-stack. Yeah.
Cubas is cool though. He gets a little wild on Twitter.
Yeah, he's a kind of an insane person, isn't he? Shout out to Cubas though.
He
still plays BO4. He's mentally unstable.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah. His homepage is QAnon.com or whatever. So anyway, cool. Shout out to Cubas. And then another thing I don't want is auditory clutter. This is not unique to MDub 2019. And by the way, the reason we're focused a lot on MDub 2019 is that is the most recent Infinity Ward title, and we're doing a wish list for the next Infinity Ward title.
And because that's the most popular of the last few COD games.
And that too,
by far.
For those 2 reasons. So if you're like, oh, why aren't you pulling examples from Cold War or Vanguard? Because iDub didn't design those games.
And Cold War did one thing right, and I'll point that out in a little bit. They did one thing right.
Interesting. So yeah, things we don't want. Auditory clutter. So what do I mean by this? Go play MDub and turn the sound on.
Warzone.
You're going to hear everything you don't want to hear, and you're going to hear none of what you do want to hear. That's the audio experience. It's the auditory experience of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 Game of the Year Edition. Is you will hear all the things that don't matter, and you won't hear any of the things that do, ever. And that's not good. And I could sum this up as auditory clutter. So here are a few examples. Oh, someone called in any streak of any kind. It's 500 decibels louder than everything else in the game. Why? No reason. There's no reason. Oh, why is the precision airstrike blowing out my eardrums? Sounded cool, I guess. Awesome. Why is the announcer talking and saying, oh, it's all up to you now, soldier. Your team's dead. Don't let them plant the bomb. When you're in match 6 of a search and destroy match, and you're good and goddamn well aware that you're the last one alive, you're trying to clutch up, and the announcer is talking in your ear, entirely too loudly, by the way, telling you shit you already know like an asshole, and then you die to some guy who just popped deady on you. Cool. Stop. Don't. At least let me turn off the announcer for things like that. And the problem again is that you just go into the settings and turn the announcer volume down to 0. Well, I want to know when the enemy team calls in a UAV, because I have no way of knowing unless I look in the sky like an asshole every 2 seconds, which obviously is not feasible. So I have to be able to hear the announcer for the 5% of the things he says that are actually necessary to know. But then I have to deal with the other 95% of the dog shit. There's some more auditory clutter. Stop it. Get rid of it. What other things are there? There are more things than that, but those are like the really egregious bad examples. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I just can't believe in Warzone when you start the gulag, it goes, and then it's like, God, get out there and the announcer says something.
So dog shit.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? You know how important that first 1.5 seconds could be of me maybe hearing where this guy's going? Just why, man? It's crazy.
The most important time in the gulag too, yeah. Because you'd be able to hear if they're going to peek you like left or right or run down mid or not move their character. You don't know anymore. If there was no announcer or buzzer, you would be able to tell, maybe. You'd be able to tell if that guy even moved or if he's just head glitching those stupid fucking barrels, which would be good to know. So yeah, that would be great. But
yeah,
but iDub, right? So smile. Good game.
Yeah. What are some other bad parts?
The devs play their game
of the audio in multiplayer, especially.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I know there's.
Oh wait,
more.
Here's a great example. The kill streaks on MW 2019 being literally 20 times as loud as any other sound in the game. People complain about that since the beta. I think in like a couple weeks into the game, they're like, oh, like we lowered like the audio level of streaks. That was a fucking lie. A precision airstrike hitting the ground was so loud. You can be firing your gun fully automatic and couldn't hear anything else. Yeah. I don't care how loud it is in real life. That ruins a gameplay experience when it's a 6v6 shooter. That shit shouldn't be that loud. It's just outrageous. VTOL's another good one. Yeah, the VTOL just hovering over.
The VTOL is like the,
and then going
and
stop.
It's for so long too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It lasts a long time.
I feel like there's more, but actually maybe there isn't. Maybe it's just these things are so bad.
It's just a bunch of little things. It doesn't matter if
there's more or not. Whatever is oral clutter, stop it. We gotta stop it. Make the streaks quieter and have an announcer that only talks when he needs to. It's so easy.
I don't want an announcer. What do we need an announcer for?
Enemy UAV above. Enemy advanced UAV. That's kind of it, though.
Maybe they should just put a banner right in the middle of my screen over my reticle for 5 seconds saying enemy UAV above.
If I could have the option, actually, to have a visual, like, text come up or some icon that's like, oh, enemy called UAV instead of the announcer, I would absolutely do that.
Well, it's called subtitles. You can turn subtitles on.
Ooh, you could turn on subtitles and then turn your announcer volume down to 0.
That's what Jake does. I'm pretty sure Jake uses subtitles.
Is that a
Jake
pro
always
strat?
Has. I think so. Not too many people do that because I don't want extra shit on my screen. Yeah. But yeah, you can run subtitles. It'll tell you all of that.
The only problem I could potentially foresee is that, because I've played with subtitles before on MW 2019, and it'll give you subtitles for like random operators. So like
it gives you more information.
We'll go into a building and she'll be like breaching, and then it'll say that in subtitles. And if that happens at the same time as an enemy UAV being called, is it possible that I never see the announcer say enemy UAV above because the Rose one overwrites it? That would be the only potential what's it called, downside.
I mean there's constant, because like when you're,
I don't know if it would work that way or not, you know.
If it was only important things, then subtitles would be a lot better, but the fact that it puts like everything on there, then exactly, it's a little too much. It's like you actually end up reading all those. If there's that many things coming up, you're gonna start ignoring them.
Yeah,
that's the issue with subtitles.
That's another thing too. Exactly. Yeah.
Pretty sure Jake said that like forever on like a round table or something, and you reamed him for using subtitles or some shit like that. And he probably never.
That's a good idea. if he didn't explain why he used them, I would have definitely shit talked him. But if he explained the reason, that's a good reason. It makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, whatever.
It is officially summertime and everybody talks about looking good for the warmer months, but few have the balls to do it. Well, it's time to nut up or shut up and take the easiest step to looking sexy this summer by using MANSCAPED. MANSCAPED's ultra smooth package makes sure you have the proper care for down there, and their Boxers 2.0 give you the perfect stage to show off the new look. These products may make you look hot, but your cleanly shaven nethers will keep you cool, and the Boxers 2.0 patented jewel pouch technology will keep your boys from turning any beach day into a swamp day. Dive headfirst into summer by joining the 5 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped, and get 20% off plus free shipping by going to manscaped.com/dropshot. The Ultra Smooth Package is a specialized 3-step groin shaving kit to help you buff, protect, and smooth your most sensitive areas. I'm talking crop shaver razor, crop exfoliator, and crop gel. This kit is the perfect polish to make your family jewels shine. Here's how you do it. Step 1. The crop exfoliator. Infused with ingredients that can smooth, clear, and keep the skin on and around your groin feeling refreshed, the exfoliator can help reduce the risk of ingrown hairs on your delicate places. Step 2. The crop gel. See where you're shaving with our unique clear shaving gel just for the groin. It's called your delicate area for a reason. This one place you do not want to go into blind. Step 3. It's time to shave. The Crop Shaver was designed for shaving the groin area with confidence. This razor has 3 precision blades, including the extra wide lubricating strips and a pivoting head for the ultimate groin grooming experience. All 3 of these vegan, cruelty-free, and sulfate-free products are included, so you know your manhood is in good hands without compromise. Once you have your hog in prize-worthy condition, grab yourself a pair of the Manscaped Boxers 2.0. They are ultra soft, moisture-wicking, cooling, anti-chafing masterpieces fit for a king and made for your royal scepter. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code DROPSHOT at manscaped.com. That's 20% off free shipping using the code DROPSHOT at manscaped.com. There are so few perfect summer days. Don't let hot, sweaty balls ruin them. Stay fresh, clean, and smelling good with Manscaped.
Either way, yeah, the audio clutter is just insane. So now we're moving on to things we do want. Okay. So, sorry, fucking Gabriel Saul Perez.
Is he texting you too? He's texting me as well. What's going on with this guy?
I guess he must be pooping. That's what he says, right?
He must have just woken
Gabriel
up.
Saul Perez.
1:15. Yeah, he's doing his morning text. He just woke up.
His morning, yeah.
Gabe, you lurking, buddy? You in here, man?
Finished his bender.
Is Big Booty Hose in here? No, he's not.
He's irrigating his nostrils right now. Okay, things we do want. Shout out to Gabe. So number 1 I have written down, which I added like 10 minutes ago. I want, after this beta, Activision to email surveys to every beta participant who played for like an hour or longer with a questionnaire. So for example, and here's what I don't want. How much did you enjoy the game? 1 to 5. How much did you enjoy the guns? 1 to 5. That's not what I want. I want the survey to be like fairly specific. So one example could be, did you feel like you were aware of what was going on around you on a scale of like 1 to 5? Or like, please select from one of these categories the aspect of this beta experience you liked the most. And then it could say gunplay, movement, visuals, audio. You could think of more things. And then another question with the same list of things. Which did you enjoy least of this experience? And then maybe a little section that says, if there's anything else you would like to tell us, please let me know. Where I could type in, you got to remove the dust from your game, or I can't see, there's too much sun glare, something like that. An actual survey after beta that they take seriously, I would really appreciate if they would actually act on those things. Are they, and who, what, by the way, what department, pop quiz Tanner, what department would be in charge of doing this survey and implementing the changes?
A survey.
It's a pop quiz.
Probably something to do with marketing.
No. It's a survey about people who've already played the beta and how to improve their game. Who do you think would be in charge of that?
I know you're probably going to say QA, right?
I'm going
Which
to
I
say
strongly
QA.
disagree. I don't think QA would ever do anything like QA are kids that play the game and then stop. They're not putting out surveys. They don't do any of that.
Well, QA doesn't do anything. That's the problem, right? So QA wants to unionize. They want more things. They want more time off. They want more payment. They want more maternity leave. They deserve none of those things.
They don't deserve any of those. Wow.
They scarcely deserve basic human rights.
Wow.
Because there has been they have not assured the quality of a single Call of Duty product in at least 4 years. So they don't deserve anything. And it's actually insulting to my intelligence and to me as a consumer of their products that they even exist, because they don't do shit. So I would suggest to Activision, hey, you guys have this whole department called QA that you ostensibly pay money to that doesn't do a single goddamn thing. Maybe make them do the first thing they've done in 3 years by forcing them to design a survey, send it out, and then take that feedback and fix the game and assure some quality for your game. Because you have all these employees sitting there draining money who don't do anything that you could actually put to good use and get some bang for your buck by employing them in this fashion. I think that would be a good use of Activision's resources, because they wouldn't have to spend any more money. You have people literally sitting at their desks with their thumbs up their asses. And I refuse to believe QA does a single thing. So then you could make them do something because you're paying them anyway. Why not? And this would be a good start, I think. Do you think this would matter?
They've done surveys before, so no, I don't think they matter.
Have they?
Yes. I think it's more just like,
I'm not talking about the in-game surveys. Those are dumb.
What in-game surveys? No, they've emailed out surveys before.
Interesting.
So
okay. Yeah, then maybe they've already been doing it. I don't recall ever getting one.
So
at least not after a beta.
I don't know if one came out after a beta. I think there's been more recent ones, but I thought that I had...
You did the blog post one. You're right.
Blog post?
No,
one.
You're right. This was fairly recently. I don't know what it was for, but it was something Call of Duty related.
They sent out an email.
Oh, it was Sledgehammer. Sledgehammer did it. It was the playlist, their experimental playlist or whatever the fuck. You remember that? Where they said they're going to change the spawns?
Yeah, I guess that was a survey. Yeah, but so
and I participated in that.
So
survey.
in MW 2019, in December of 2019, they did put out a survey asking people what would get them to come back and play the multiplayer experience, and it was different options you could select, like if technical issues were resolved, if weapon balance issues were resolved.
Okay, that's good.
If I got new multiplayer modes, new multiplayer maps, etc. But yeah, to me, it'd be cool, but it's like, does that really? It's not guaranteeing they're going to change anything. I guess it does prove to them though through a survey that like, oh yeah, more people want these like new maps than anything else that we ask. So let's like prioritize that. So I guess it does make sense to have. But yeah, I'm just saying they've done them before. Will we ever know how much good they actually do? No, we have no way of determining that. But they have sent out surveys. Funny that they sent it out in December, right? That goes to show you that a lot of people dislike MW 2019 already by that point, because the survey was literally titled "What will get you to come back and play Modern Warfare 2019 multiplayer." Holy shit!
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like if they did one after beta, and they were relatively small things that they could fix, that they would be able to actually do it.
Yeah. See,
like if footsteps
I swear
were
they
too
did
loud,
do a beta one at one point. I'm trying to find it.
Turn them up, you know? I don't know. It doesn't matter if they've done it or not. So maybe if they're already have done this for the last 3 games, I just haven't been getting the emails, whatever.
They did do something with Cold War. It wasn't really a survey. It was just tell us about your experience. What did you like? What could be improved? And it was just like a free form that you could fill out and submit.
And that's, yeah, okay. So maybe they've been doing this already. So that's good if they have been. I'm going to literally look for a survey after beta and fill it out and be like serious about it and take it really seriously. But I think that would be the best time is right after beta, because then there's still like 2 months where they can't change anything major. Like, oh, your maps suck. There's nothing they can do about that. But if it was like, the sun is too bright on this map, they could change that in a day. That would be a good thing they could do, like they did with Gavutu. They fixed that like inside of a week. So there are things they could do as the result of feedback from a survey, because again, Activision devs do not play their own game. They're not going to know really obvious, easy fix things they need to do unless we tell them as people who actually play the game. So I would like that. But that's number one thing I do want. Next thing I want, camo challenges that are not dumb. These have been getting progressively, steeply worse ever since MDub 2019. They weren't so bad in MDub 2019, but they were far worse than BO4. In Cold War, they were far worse than MDub 2019. And in Vanguard, they are the worst they have ever been in terms of forcing you to use weapons in a way that they were not intended to be used, and in a way that no one would ever use them. So, for example, in Cold War, this is one of the worst things I've ever had the displeasure of doing. Getting double kills with a rocket launcher designed to shoot at military aircraft. Why am I shooting infantry with a rocket? No one in real life ever in the history of warfare has ever taken a fucking Stinger missile and they pointed it at buildings probably, but at some guy in the street in front of them. That's never happened. It's not the intended use of the weapon. Even in the context of the video game, that's never been the intended use of the weapon. Don't make me do it for a camo. It's dumb. Vanguard is even worse with like put on these 7 attachments and then get fucking behind the back under your legs kills 45,000 matches in a row. These are dumb challenges. Stop it. Make the camo challenges make sense and be tied to things you'd actually use the gun for. Great example. Get 300 hipfire kills with a shotgun. That's a perfect camo challenge. Because guess what I'm doing with a shotgun? Not aiming down sights. I'm hip firing.
You're not, man?
So make that a camo challenge.
Don't ADS with a Jack 12?
Here's what you don't do with camo challenges. Get 300 hip fire kills with a bolt action intervention sniper rifle. Why? I'm not doing that. That's not how people use snipers. So I would love camo challenges that made sense again.
Yeah, so if the camo's kind of like mid-grade, but the challenges aren't completely terrible and toxic, which was MDub 2019, it's worth going for the completionist camos. But then you get something like Vanguard, where it's like the camo arguably, I really do personally think Damascus looks better. Atomic kind of like, it looks very cool. I like that it's animated, but the graphical like pattern on it kind of looks like it was made like 10 years ago or something. It needs some serious improvements. I don't think any mastery camo's been good in a long time. I actually like Cold Wars a lot. Yeah, Cold Wars is dope. Though. But so Vanguard, like the camo, I would say for most people, they thought that was probably better than Damascus. But challenges, toxic, terrible, awful to do. Using a 12-round magazine with some specific short barrel to get headshots with a Sten, and you have to do that 100 times.
And the barrel,
and it's like literally like, and the barrel reduces headshot damage, and it's like a hip fire setup. It's just that it's just not fun to do. That doesn't make you a good player because you do something like that. It's just using terrible, toxic, boring setups and doing that 100 times. It's just not worth the grind.
That is so much worse when you have SBMM in your game also.
True.
Because if there was no SBMM and you forced me to use a dog shit SMG and get 100 headshots, I'm going to get in some lobbies without SBMM that are just full of shitters. And it's like, this is actually probably good for the health of the game, because you're taking like a good player and artificially nerfing them by making them use bad weapons so that they're on a more even playing field with the bad players. But with SBMM, when people are using fucking gold, oh my god, whatever, the shotgun, fire shotgun, slide canceling with a riot shield on their back, fucking your ass while you're trying to use this awful setup. This is so toxic to do to your community.
Yeah, it's like how I can't even shoot at someone from the back because everyone has a riot shield on their back, so I can't hit a headshot. It's not possible, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, MW 2019 had the easiest challenges of the last 3 COD, I think.
Definite, 100% true.
Because it was more basic thing. It was it was like kills, headshots, no attachments, 10 attachments, long shots, crouching kills, shit like that, hip fire kills. It wasn't just insanely toxic. They've gotten so particular now with everything. Get 100 long shots with these 3 attachments while also using your mouse upside down or turning aim assist off on your controller. It's like, why?
Exactly.
Does any Sledgehammer dev, did any of you go for Atomic? I really doubt it. Yet you designed those challenges. None of them are fun. None of you got Atomic. Why are you making the general public do that if they want the completionist camo? It's an insane thing to do.
Correct. 100%. So next thing we do want, and here's one thing that MW 2019 absolutely had, and we want it to come back because Cold War had it too, to be fair. Vanguard did not. Vanguard really didn't that much in multiplayer, or especially in Warzone. And that is this: weapons that have their own identity. I think MW 2019 did exceptionally well with this. I think a lot of things related to the weapons. The weapon balance, to some extent, more so in multiplayer, was actually fairly good, I would argue, in MW 2019. And again, the weapons having their own identity and their own strengths and weaknesses, even within a category, I think MW 2019 did exceedingly well. And I want that to come back. We both do. And I think it will. I'm very optimistic on this point. So for example, you could use an M13 in MW multiplayer. And that's going to be an AR that has fairly fast handling, fast ADS speed, low recoil, high fire rate. It's kind of a hybrid SMG AR. And it's going to be really good up close and medium range. It's not going to be good at 50 meters plus compared to other ARs. So that's like one identity. And then another identity would be like it's a good example, a Scar. Like the Scar, you're fucking 2 and 3 tapping people from super far away. It's got dog shit handling. It's got a bad fire rate. It's got low mobility, low sprint out time, but it fucking chunks. And it's got excellent velocity, excellent damage range. And if you are at like 50 meters, you'd rather have a Scar than an M13 in multiplayer. So this is 2 assault rifles, 2 guns in the same category that are very unique. They have their own identity, and depending on your playstyle, you can pick one or the other. In Vanguard multiplayer, does that exist? To some extent, kind of, like, you know. But when you can put 10 attachments on every single gun, it really washes the identity of all your guns away. Because base stats kind of barely matter. So I want weapons that have their own identity to come back. And luckily, the first optimistic point of this podcast thus far, I'm very confident that they will, and I'm excited about it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I think one thing that comes down to guns having their own identity too comes down to the audio. And MW 2019, the audio levels of everything were poor. The audio itself for everything, gun sounds, movement, the streaks, it was all excellent. The quality was excellent. The levels were just not where they should have been. Certain things were too loud, other things were too quiet. But the guns all sounded so much different, and that makes them feel like they have their own identity too. And an obvious way of seeing that is Shoot any gun without audio and everything feels the same. That I think audio so much changes how a gun feels, like more than most players realize, and that's also why Vanguards all feel the same, because Vanguard doesn't have good gun audio or audio in general. Like
Use
all the
Vanguard
guns sound the same.
Warzone too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's literally why I don't want to use the 3-line. It sounds stupid. It just sounds dumb, but it's like it makes a gun feel so dumb to me and just boring to use. And so that's, I think, the biggest thing. That MW 2018 also had excellent gun audio, and we'll continue to see that too. I mean, Infinity Ward definitely has the best audio department of all the teams in terms of like how things actually sound. Not the levels, of course, but the gun audio by far better than everything else. The streak audio, everything sounds cool. The gunship when it hits the ground sounds insane when you hear those guns firing.
Move some sliders around.
They just think, let's
really
move about 2 sliders and you have perfect audio. Yeah, it's just that simple. Just move you guys have a Go XLR probably if you're Infinity Ward dev. Just move it up a little or a little bit down. You'll figure it out. It's literally
so
that
crazy
simple.
to me how easy it sounds to just make the VTOL not as loud.
Yeah,
like you can even have
is.
like, so when a VTOL is whatever 20 meters from you, it's this audio. If it's 30 meters, it's like 10% quieter than if it was 20 meters from you. At 50 meters, it's 40% quieter than if it was 20 meters from you. You could keep all of that the same and just reduce the overall volume of the VTOL by like 30% and then keep everything else the same and it'd be fine.
Yeah.
And they never did it. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't get. There's no way it's more complicated than that. Some things must be more complicated than I think, like making me hear footsteps. I'll grant that that's harder than it sounds because no FPS game can do it. But just making things quieter, I refuse to believe there's something I'm missing there. You can just make VTOLs quieter.
Yeah, they
and
just
that's
chose
all.
not to
And
for
you could
some
do
reason.
it today. You could if you wanted to. They just don't want to. So yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I'm with you on that. The audio is important. The it's just a visual aspect too. Like MW 2019, the guns look really good. The reload animations, the chamber animations, everything is just so fucking dope.
Yeah.
It adds a lot to the identity of the guns. But even in terms of gameplay, they have their own identity. Even if the MW 2019 guns had dog shit animations, dog shit textures, and dog shit audio, they would still have their own identity in terms of gameplay. And that is mostly what I'm focused on. But I really want all the other shit too, because it does add a lot, and I think we'll get all of it. So it's a kind of a moot point. So yeah.
Agreed, yeah. But yeah, MW 2019 had the best weapon variety and identity, so I'm confident that'll be coming back.
In every way, yeah. Visually, auditorily, and balance-wise, I think. So, gameplay-wise. Tanner, what is this next point? Or did I write this?
You wrote that.
I've written down here things we do want. Ground War. I think we'll get it. I'm almost positive we will. And I want it. And I'm excited about it. This is another innovation Infinity Ward broke ground on with MW 2019. It's not like it's totally unique, but it is pretty unique. They had larger scale game modes in CODs before, not to this degree. And we haven't seen Ground War since, or anything even remotely close. So I want that to come back. It's really a really fun way to play multiplayer. It is the most fun way to grind for camos or even to level your guns. I'd much rather level a gun in Ground War than playing fucking Plunder like an asshole. But you can't do that for a new Vanguard gun, right? So I really want Ground War to come back, and I'm almost certain it will. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that's all but confirmed. Ground War is just we've kind of moved on from 6's COD. At least I have. I'll play it if the maps are the correct size for 6's, which they weren't on like MW 2019. But it's like, you know, something like Cold War. 6's was fine because the maps were designed for 6's. I'm not playing
Correct.
Arklov Peak 6v6 on a map that's designed to be 12 versus 12 or 16 versus 16. But yeah, so Ground War kind of fills that gap between like multiplayer and Warzone. That's just like a fast-paced experience. Get back out there right away. Good for doing like camo challenges and stuff. Good for farming streaks. getting a bunch of kills. It's just very fun, and it's a little more brainless. There's no skill-based matchmaking in Ground War. It's almost none, it seems. So you run into people that aren't as demonic as you do if you play Six's Search or something, where you're going to run into all the toxic CDL kids in game chat yelling at you.
And some kids are fucking insane. Also.
Yeah, and then you also get those insane kids. But yeah,
like Tanner got a nuke dropped on him by Nate Gibson in Ground War.
I did. Arklov Peak.
I think.
Arklov Peak. I loaded into the lobby late.
But yeah.
Shocking. The team Nate was playing was all backing out, so I loaded in backfill. We were getting destroyed. I'm in the game for 30 seconds, and then Nate Gibson calls in a nuke on us. Yeah, cool, man. Thanks, Nate.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Fuck Nate. Yeah. No, but yeah, I've seen like really good players in Ground War. You get the variety. It's not like it's only shit players, which isn't what Tanner was saying. I just wanted to make this clear. You get the variety in terms of other people, and that is again something you no longer are allowed to have in Sixes. That makes multiplayer fun, but in Ground War you do get it. Sometimes you enter a room, there's 3 kids in there, and hey, surprise, they're fucking terrible, and you just like farm the shit out of them. And then other times you walk in and it's 3 17-year-olds who are on summer break, who have been playing for 4 hours so far in that session, all in Discord on a PC at 240 hertz monitor, 300 frames in game. They're on their SCUF controller, calming their hearts out, and you are absolutely fucked. And that's the fun of Ground War. You don't know what you're going to get when you walk into a room with 3 little buds in there. You don't know if they're 17-year-olds or 70-year-olds. And that's part of the reason Ground War is really fun. Also, yeah, for sure. What do we got next here, Tanner? This is interesting. I'm curious to talk about this.
I want lobbies that stay together again. Will we be getting this again? Probably not. This is something, though, it is so much more fun playing a multiplayer game when you kind of build a little rivalry with someone else that you're playing against, especially in Sixes. You guys come out to the main menu, you guys shit talk as you're waiting to load in the next lobby. Best part about BO4, waiting in there shit talking people.
By far the best part of BO4.
Queuing in, you destroy them or they destroy you. You have to go quiet. You can't talk as they're shit talking you. Then you guys are in the same lobby again. You load back in. You destroy them. Then of course we start shit talking like crazy again, even though they just beat us. Pisses them off. Type pissed question mark in chat. But it kind of builds little like rivalries that are fun and somewhat toxic. But you
make
just
friends out of that too.
You do make friends out of that, but it's something that you just don't see anymore because of skill-based matchmaking in COD and how strict it is. The lobbies don't stay together because it'll basically every time the lobby ends, it's reforming them to try to like rebalance the lobby and put you in a different bracket if you did really well, or someone that went 0-40 and is reverse boosting like Korean Savage, he gets thrown into a lower KD lobby so then he can farm nukes to upload on YouTube.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you make friends from those rivalries too every once in a while. Now let me be clear. Most of the time you don't make friends. The other people are just super giga mad. They start calling you racial epithets, and then you're like, well, come on, man, this is weird. But, like, I remember DJ Papa Squat and his friend, his name was Chris. I forget what his name was in-game. He ended up getting weird, and we, like, banned him from Discord. I don't remember what the drama was. This was a long time ago. But him and DJ Papa Squat would always play together. And then, like, me, you, and whoever would always play together. And because 10 people total played BO4 on PC, we would play against them a lot, and we would like kind of talk shit or whatever. But then eventually, I think what had ended up happening was they had come into my stream and then like started chatting, saw me, and then they were like, oh, we should like run together sometimes. And then like we made friends. It was cool. And that's all gone. That's all gone when lobbies don't stay together. It's a travesty. You lose so much.
Yeah.
You lose so much. And that is so much of a part of the fun of playing Sixes. Is like, I'll stay on for more games than I otherwise would if it's like 2 to 2 in these like random pub dom games against this other 3 stack or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll stay on longer. I'll have way more fun. I'll try harder. It'll add so much depth to the game that the devs don't need to do on their own. They just need to leverage human psychology to their advantage by just letting lobbies stay together.
Yeah.
It's that simple. But they don't want to do that. They've disallowed that from happening, and now you can't get that. So now you play sixes, and it's like, okay, these kids are talking shit. We just farted on them. I'll never see them again.
Yeah.
And it's like, cool. So dumb. It's so fucking stupid.
Yeah,
So yeah, I would love for lobbies to stay together for sure.
A lot of those people like that we talked about, like Cubas and BO4 and shit, we never played with them. We only played against them, but we ended up forming friendships because it was always like our stack versus their stack. And we would like talk shit and chat, like mess around. But then we ended up all being friends at the end because we would play against each other so often, and you would build those little rivalries. That was fun. That you need an otherwise boring sixes shooter that feels the same as every other COD we've played for the last 15 years.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was really fun. Yeah. And another kind of point to this that's somewhat related, map voting.
Yeah.
I would like to see that again. Map voting was great. You could curate to some degree your experience this way. And I'm not sure if you can have map voting without lobbies staying together. Which I think some game did recently.
Cold War had map voting.
Yeah. Cold War, I think. Yeah. And I wanted to go back to this map, that map, or random. That would be good. But I'm not sure we'll get that either. I think it's possible we get map voting back. I wouldn't say it's likely, but it's possible.
It's just such an excellent little feature. When the game has bad maps, you just won't end up playing those maps. Because your opinions on maps is usually what most... If a map is bad, like if the map vote in MW 2019 is Crash or Piccadilly, Crash is going to win 99 out of 100 times. Very few people like Piccadilly. If the map's that bad, you just won't have to play it, you know? But it's almost like partly like they want you, like they've created everything, so they want you to just play all of it. And it's like, oh, Piccadilly, don't care, you're playing it. Or just back out like the Infinity Ward dev does when he gets Piccadilly.
Oh my god, that clip is so funny. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I hope both of these things come back. Map voting maybe will. Lobbies that stay together, I'm fairly confident that won't come back. But maybe. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. Next point I do want. Better custom lobby support. So multiplayer customs and the customizability of those lobbies is actually pretty good in MW 2019. You can adjust like health. You could do headshots only. You could pick the map and the mode, obviously. And that's pretty good. I want that to come back, and I expect it to. I would like this to extend to custom ground war. That, as far as I understand, I'm almost certain, is not possible. And I would like to see that. And that could make for really fun community events. For us, for example. And other communities of like big streamers. Like, oh, Kaylee's doing fucking, Friday night sub-only custom ground war lobbies. That would be a really cool feature for streamers to like have. That would be fairly low-key, relaxed, and fun. And then Warzone custom lobby support as well. I know we're focused on multiplayer, but we're going to talk about this anyway and stay mad. Be able to do custom Warzone with more customization. So maybe being able to adjust the ground loot, adjust health. So you could maybe like choose from a preset that they have for Iron Trials. So you just toggle that preset and it gives you the default Iron Trials rule set. And then maybe you could tinker that further. We want even more health than normal Iron Trials. Or we want, only shotguns as ground loot or something. That's going pretty far. I don't think they would do that. I wouldn't even really expect them to. But there's a lot of customization you could do for custom Warzone lobbies that I would like to see. And a fucking invite code. So like, okay, go to the lobby name is Dropshot and the password is come. And if you just go into your game and type that, you join my lobby. I don't have to invite you like an asshole. That would be great too. And such an easy feature that games have been doing for 30 years. These are things I would like to see.
Yeah, especially with how bad like the friends list system is.
Oh my god, it's terrible. Terrible.
Then it makes it so hard to like invite people, join on people. They don't get your invites. The invite doesn't work. Yeah, doing some sort of like lobby code like so many games do now would make it so much easier to do these custom games. Just so much easier. But yeah, the MDO 2019 multiplayer custom support was good, but you are right. Could you even play Ground War in customs?
I don't think you could. No. I'm not sure, but I feel like we would have tried it.
Because
So,
you could do a
probably
shitload
not.
actually, and it was pretty good. But yeah, I don't. Or you needed like too many people to start it, like 20 people or some shit.
I'll check right now.
16 people. But yeah, custom lobby support is a given. I will be getting that in multiplayer for sure. I think it's more Warzone that we're like, this could do so much for you. I mean, don't put on the World Series of Warzone when you guys don't even have custom lobby support. It's such an insane thing to do. To do like over $1 million for a tournament and prizes, and you guys don't even have custom tools that people can make. Half the people couldn't join the lobbies. It's mind-blowing that they even attempted something like that without having those tools at their disposal. So that needs to come on launch with Warzone 2. I 100% agree. And I am optimistic that that will come because it's been wanted for a long time. The World Series of Warzone did show that they tried to get more into like the Warzone competitive scene. So I have a feeling since like Infinity Ward designed all this, it's their like Warzone 2 is being designed by them. I feel like we will get something like that on launch now that they see so many people were a fan of this.
Yeah, I'm fairly optimistic on this point as well. I agree. For sure. So that would be good. Next thing I want. A traditional mini-map. What do I mean by this precisely? A mini-map that's always present. That shows red dots when you call a UAV. And they don't have perks or something. And a mini-map through which, if an enemy shoots a gun without a suppressor, even if we don't have a UAV up, I see a blip on their radar. Just like every COD game from COD 1 to BO4 had.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to see come back. That formula was great. And especially if the gunsmith details are correct, where you can only have 6 out of a total of 10 options of attachments, you're now forcing people, do I want to stay off minimap and use a silencer? Or would I prefer to put on this stock that gives me really good strafe speed? Make us pick instead of it not mattering because you don't need to silence because the minimap doesn't work anyway. I want to see the traditional minimap come back. I honestly am totally 50-50 on if it will. I don't know. I could see it going either way.
I think it will.
I could really see this going either way.
I think the leaks have said it's traditional again. But who knows what to believe for that. Yeah, it's just Infinity Ward, every game they make, they try to do something outrageous. And with MDO 2019, it was the mini-map incident, the maps incident. The
mini-map incident, yeah.
And they just don't work. And it's like they just don't want to like go back and change something and like admit that it was a stupid idea to remove the mini map altogether from a COD game unless someone has a UAV up. Mind blowing that they even tried that. It's like, what kind of LARPers are designing your game? You know, let's like go play Battlefield or something. You fucking you LARPer, stop.
Yeah, I agree.
The mini map just belongs there. And then they do things like the gunsmith that are brand new and an excellent addition to the game. And it works really, really well, and it changes COD for the better until Vanguard comes out and does 10 attachments and then guns kill in 2 bullets because they don't balance it correctly. So yeah, traditional minimap is an obvious given. Yeah, that needs to come back, and I'm almost certain that will come back, yeah.
Yeah. So update, you cannot play Ground War in customs.
Got it.
As I suspected, yeah.
That's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, and I would like to see that. Now, I will also say, I'm fairly certain the reason for this is that, like, they have to, like, create a server, and it would be, like, a lot more server space or something.
To do ground war
So
lobbies,
it's like, maybe it's not feasible from a developer perspective, and that's fair. But if it's possible, I'd like to see it a lot. Next thing I've written down is audio. We kind of talked about this already, but I'd like to be able to hear footsteps. That would be cool. Which wasn't a problem in MW 2019. It's a massive problem in Vanguard. You don't need Ninja in Vanguard because footsteps don't make sound anyway. Let's have footsteps that are similar to MW 2019 multiplayer, but like maybe 20% quieter. That would be perfect for me, and I'd be happy with that, in addition to every other thing we've said about audio today.
Yeah, agreed.
But I have nothing else to add on that. We kind of talked about that a lot. And then next thing, Tanner.
Next thing here. Things we want. Last thing. I want health totals closest to Cold War. Cold War's time to kill. It's one of the very few things that Cold War actually had that was really well done. And that was, in general, the time to kill. Now, this led to busted LMGs with no recoil that hit like a sniper, and then busted snipers. But that's the fault of Treyarch for not balancing those. The higher time to kill did feel like you could outplay people. I feel like, especially in Cold War, like you could start getting shot at. You could turn your character 90 degrees. You can have already gotten hit 2 or 3 times. You can put some well-placed shots on that person in their head, wherever it may be, and you can kill them. And so you can outplay people that way in a way that you just can't in a lot of CODs. MW 2019, it's too fast. Vanguard, it is the most inconsistent feeling time to kill in a COD multiplayer game, like, ever. The guns go from taking 9 bullets to kill with no attachments to killing in 2 shots with Vital. I mean, there was a literal 2-shot. There were numerous 2-shot builds when Vanguard came out that people got through like Vital and other dog shit attachments that they just didn't balance correctly. And so I say health totals, but in general, I mean like the time to kill closest to Cold War. I don't exactly think we're going to get that again with Infinity Ward. They seem to like a little bit lower time to kills, but I feel like we're not going to, the time to kill in general is going to be a little bit slower than MW 2019 and probably more in line with closer to Cold War. And I feel like they've been trying to shift that. It's like the guns have no recoil in Warzone, but the time to kill in general is still a slower time to kill than Warzone had like a year ago. The gun, you hit all your shots, but the time to kill is technically slower than it used to be. So I feel like COD is kind of gradually making that shift to a little bit slower time to kill, more bolts to kill, more outplay potential. So I think we'll see something a little different than MW 2019 in that sense, probably closer to Cold War, and that's what I would love.
I would also love a health total like Cold War. I think that would be just about perfect. That was one of the many things Cold War did better than MW 2019. Was the TTK. Outside of LMGs and snipers, and you said it exactly right. It's not the fault of the TTK that those guns were overpowered. It's the fault of Treyarch for not balancing the guns. So balance them better, and then the time to kill would still be fine. That was like the perfect time to kill. I would normally say BO4 had the perfect time to kill, but now with cross input, I don't want that anymore. I'm not good enough. So Cold War would be good. I think that would be great. I will say, I expect MW2 TTK in general in multiplayer to be slightly slower than it was in MW 2019, which would be a good thing. But I do think it's actually going to be closer to MW 2019 TTK than Cold War TTK. I still think it'll be slower than MW 2019, but not so much that it's like closer to Cold War. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's still going to be like fairly fast. But I'm pretty sure it'll be slower than MWs, yeah. Which would be good.
Yeah.
In any case.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then next, Tanner, you added this section, which I'm glad you added. Tell us about the next section of this episode.
Next section, it's kind of like little topics that people wish for that we've talked about. We just don't give a shit. People get way too into some of these things. So this is like the things other people wish for that you see people talk about, but we don't care about, and I almost don't know why people do care about. And the first and obvious one being that we keep talking about, the guns we see come back. ACR, I don't care. Intervention confirmed to be coming back. Why? I don't give a shit. You're living in the MW2 days. It won't feel the same. It won't look the same. It won't sound the same. The game won't have the same movement. It won't have the same time to kill. It won't have the same maps. It won't have toxic voice chat like you're used to. It's not going to have any of that. The gun having the same name means fucking nothing to me. I do not care. Give me 6 ARs. Give me 6 to 8 ARs and I'll be happy. I don't give a shit if one of them is called the ACR. I don't understand why people are so fascinated with this. I really don't.
I could not agree.
I feel like it's always like that same type of person. It's like the younger CDL kid is all into that shit. I'm like, what? Why? Why do you care about what the gun is called?
By the way, I would be willing to bet money on this. 50% of people or more who say they want the ACR back, if they took the Remington ACR and modeled a perfect replica of it, that even says fucking Remington on the side if the real one does, put it in MW2 in the AR category, everything was literally exactly a Remington ACR, like in real life, and then in game it was called the WAZ, at least 50% of the people begging for the ACR to come back would be mad the ACR wasn't in the game, because it's not, because of course they don't recognize the gun. They're 16. They've never seen a gun before. And they would have no idea that the ACR is actually in the game because they aren't told it's called ACR in the fucking menu or whatever. I am so sure that that's true, which is hilarious. And it speaks to how little this fucking matters. The name of the gun. I don't care. We've had an ACR. In every single Call of Duty game ever, we've had an ACR. What is an ACR? A full auto AR that has low recoil and a high fire rate. That doesn't do that much damage. Cool. We've always had one. I don't care if it's called ACR or not. I completely and totally agree with this. Yeah, it doesn't matter. And I'm not some fucking gun nerd that that wants an ACR because I like how the real life ACR looks. Who fucking cares? I mean, I sort of get that. You know, if I was like, I don't know, some fucking grunt in the Marines and there was like no M4 in the game, I'd be kind of mad, to be honest. I get that, sort of. But the name of the gun doesn't matter. It really doesn't. So we don't give a shit about this. And we've talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
Next things.
I just want them to be so bad in the game. Put the ACR and have it be the worst AR.
Be fucking dog shit. Yeah.
It's not going to bring back that feeling that you're hoping for and that you think you're going to get from using that gun that you used 8 years ago. You're looking to relive that memory, that moment again in time when you were young and you were playing an old game and you were having fun. Having the ACR in a game in 2022, it's not going to do that for you. I'm telling you right now, you're just going to be disappointed because it's not going to be the ACR. But hey, it's going to lead to a lot of clickbait titles, swag, the ACR is back, the ACR, you know, best gun in COD history, blah, blah. And it's going to lead to a lot of that shit. It's going to lead to content for sure, but I just don't care. Give me guns.
Speaking of things content creators want that you guys should not care about, and we don't either, weapon inspect. Don't care. I don't care if it comes back. It doesn't matter at all. It just doesn't matter. If it's in the game, and again, ACR and the intervention, if they're in the game, cool. They're going to be in the game either way. So if that's the text they use for the weapon, that's fine. I don't care. It doesn't bother me that they're bringing the ACR back. But it just doesn't add anything. If they didn't, I wouldn't care. And it has no impact on me. Weapon inspect is the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm not mad if they include weapon inspect.
No.
But I'm certainly not mad if they don't. I don't give a fuck. And I don't know why people on Twitter with 2 YouTube subs who have uploaded one video every 8 months who think they're going to be content creators give a shit about this.
Yeah.
Like, oh, finally weapon inspect for my thumbnails. Hey, dude. no one watched
Yeah,
your video.
you just steal it
And
from
no one
someone
will.
else's video
And
anyways.
Weapon Inspect is not going to blow up your YouTube channel. Stop.
Yeah.
Weapon Inspect doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't care at all.
The only funny thing was I liked it in Vanguard when like SMGs had Weapon Inspect and then the other guns did it. Remember it was like that for a long time. It took months for all the guns to get with the Weapon Inspect animation.
Yep.
So funny.
So funny.
I'll never understand why people give a shit about this.
Yeah. If you
unless you're like a pretty
YouTuber,
good size YouTuber,
exactly,
then it's handy for you to have. But I see like the average person bitching about this. Like, why do you give a shit? What are you doing with the Weapon Inspect?
It's so fucking
why do you
weird.
care? Yeah, it's an odd thing. It'll come back and it'll undoubtedly be in the game. It's an Infinity War game. It'll probably be there on launch working correctly, unlike Sledgehammer. But yeah, it's like it's funny that people beg for certain things they beg for, and that's one of them.
Yeah, it's just outrageous. So anyway, next, Tanner, this is an interesting one.
I think you wrote this. Good campaign. Don't care.
Okay. Well, do you care about a good campaign?
I care a little bit, but
okay.
But I mean,
maybe I did write this then. But
I mean, people, you're not buying COD for the campaign like literally no one is. You're buying it for the multiplayer. So if the campaign's cool, I'll play it. I'll play it. I played the MW 2019 campaign. I wanted to play Vanguard campaign. I should have. I never did though.
You shouldn't have.
I shouldn't have. That's what I said.
Correct choice.
That's what I said. Yeah. So the MW 2019 campaign was dope. But yeah, it doesn't. If it's there, cool. I'll probably play it. I mean, it's gonna have a campaign, obviously, but I don't care about the storyline. I don't care about the lore. I don't care what operator comes back that hasn't been in a COD campaign for 15 years. I don't give a shit. Cool. Whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I did write this. You're right. So I made a mistake in my notes. So I wrote good campaign, don't care. What I should have written is a campaign, don't care. You could make a game without a campaign and I wouldn't care. The campaign
same. Wouldn't matter at all.
Yeah, the campaign barely adds anything. MW 2019, the total playtime I have in that game, the campaign accounts for maybe 0.01% of my total playtime. Maybe, and probably even less than that. You're going to play the campaign once, maybe, and then you'll never think about it again or play it again, ever. I don't care about about the quality of the campaign. I don't even care if there is one. Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I'll play it if it's in, unless you make me fly a plane like in Vanguard. That's when I stopped. I was gonna play the Vanguard campaign. Then they made me fly a plane
once.
Which would have been fine if I could control it, but it's so unintuitive and clunky and dog shit. I said, oh, fuck this. I don't care enough. And I exited the campaign and I never launched it again. And I never will.
Yeah.
That's how little
That's
I care
where
about
a lot of
campaign.
people
That's my
got
point.
to on
It
the
doesn't matter.
Vanguard campaign. From what I heard, everyone stopped at that mission. Again, that comes down to what was going on when people play tested that so many people on Twitter were like, holy shit, I stopped playing the campaign at the plane mission. It's unplayable. Like, where was the testing during that shit?
Mm-hmm.
No one thought, oh my god, these controls are awful. Let's fix these plane controls before we launch this as a mission.
Yeah, it's the worst. So, yeah, there you go. And then another thing, I wrote this in the wrong section. The section is called Things People Wish For That We Simply Do Not Care About. This next item is things no one cares about. Spec Ops or a similar playlist. No one cares about these. It's not only just us that don't care about this. No one does. Spec Ops was the MW 2019 version. Cold War had something. I don't even know what it was called. No one cared about it. Vanguard. I don't know if Vanguard had a mode that was the Spec Ops equivalent. Did it? Yeah, I don't know. Cool. So anyway, whatever this mode they're gonna make is gonna be, I don't care about it. It doesn't matter. And no one does. So this kind of goes without saying. It's just a waste of development time and resources. And they could be spending that time making surveys or assuring quality. And instead they're going to be pouring in hundreds of hours into a Spec Ops mode that no one will play. So don't do that, for sure.
Sorry, I was choking on my water, so I had to get more water to choke on.
Cool.
Yeah, Spec Ops. Waste of development.
Did Vanguard have a thing like this?
I don't know.
If it does, that's how little anyone cares about it. I don't even know if it exists.
I don't think it does.
So, yeah. I don't think it does either. But maybe it does. Whatever. Okay, next section. Wishlist items that are exceedingly unlikely.
Yeah.
And I like this section. This is the fantastical thinking section now. We are fully aware we'll never get any of this. But it would be nice. Tanner, start us off.
Bring back custom emblems. I'll tell you right now why they don't do it and why we'll never see it again. It's hard to like lock certain things or words that you can lock, like okay, so you can't have a super racist name. It will flag it and not let you have that name. There are ways around it. I see it.
Right.
But in general, you can't type certain words and that be your name. With like a custom emblem editor, you can just about type whatever the fuck you want. And nothing will happen to you until enough people like report you, probably, because you could report people for their emblem, I believe, couldn't you? Or maybe it's just like a general report button.
100% could.
Yeah. And so,
yeah.
And then, it would get like deleted or something, or you may get banned for a short period of time. But that's why that's never coming back. But it was just so much fun, that you can just write certain things, that I could just have a emblem that said pissed with a giant question mark, so that people would get super mad at me, and then I just type pissed in chat, and then they'd also see my custom emblem just said pissed question mark. It was a great little toxic thing you could do, but I understand why it's not in the game, why unfortunately it's never coming back, because people turn it into something really bad and just write racist shit in there, or other things that are just unnecessary, and then ruins it for everyone else who just wants to have custom emblems and have fun, like me saying pissed. I'm not out here fucking saying
your favorite emblem of all time. Do we still have a picture of that?
I don't know if we.
Do you have it saved on your phone or something?
I don't think so.
Fuck, man.
I could install BO4 again and take a screenshot.
My favorite custom emblem of all time was Tanner's emblem, and it only worked with the accompanying calling card, which is of course the nuclear killer calling card. That the vast majority of people did not have in BO4. That Tanner and I, of course, did have. And the custom emblem was just text on a black background, and it was in lowercase letters, imagine not having a nuke, and then in very big uppercase letters that were a different color. They were yellow text, not white text. So it really stood out. LMAO, all caps.
Yeah.
Really condescending and rude and fucking hilarious.
And I made it within an hour of getting my
got
first
mad
nuke.
about it. Yep. Oh yeah, for sure. And that every single time he got play of the game, I would see the emblem very clearly and laugh. It would make me laugh every time.
Yeah.
It was so fucking childish and funny.
Yeah.
And that is like that's not bannable, and devs wouldn't get mad at that. It's not breaking any rules. It's rude, but it's not a fucking swastika with a picture of someone being lynched. Also,
and people had
that.
swastika emblems actually in BO4. Now I think about it,
most people had swastika emblems.
So
in
that's
BO4. Yeah, correct.
That's the reason that's never coming back, is those people ruined it for us with their actual toxicity. So I get why they just can't do it anymore.
This is not Activision's fault.
It's super unfortunate that people had to ruin it for people who just want to fuck around and have fun like us. Yeah, some little 14-year-old white kid from Mississippi had to write the N-word in his emblem and get it removed for the entire COD community. Thanks, man. Thanks, Trevor. It's probably your name, you fucking little piece of shit.
Trevor. Hookworm having little cunt.
Yeah.
So these are never coming back, and if I was Activision, I wouldn't allow them either, honestly. It's not even their fault, but I wish they would.
I mean, they can't even ban people floating around Caldera and spin botting and getting 50 kills a game. How are they going to have some sort of feature where they ban calling cards that say like racist terms or something?
That's correct.
I mean, emblems.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct for sure. Next thing here that I've written down, the good old server browser.
Ooh.
Where you go in like Battlefield. I don't know if the new one has this actually. But Battlefield used to have, and maybe still does, I don't know. I, of course, don't play Battlefield.
Yeah, does the newest one have it? I don't know.
Because I don't have a 40 IQ. the server browser, which is like you open the game, you open your server browser, and then you can like select filters. So like, okay, I want to see servers that have 90 milliseconds of ping to me or less, and are playing Conquest or Rush only, and are on these maps only, and are on these like health totals only, or no vehicles servers and shit like that. And then you apply that filter, and then you'd get like 5 servers, and then you could pick one that was like fairly full. This would be fucking awesome for COD. I would love to do that. So for example, in MW 2019, here's what my server browser filters would look like. I would uncheck all maps except for Shoot House, and that's probably it. And then I would select some other ones, but yeah, I'd pick like 2 or 3 maps. I would pick Dom Hardpoint only. I would pick whatever, 80 ping or lower, and then I'd queue up. And that'd be a lot of fun. With SBMM, this is not possible. Obviously, this is absolutely never coming back ever, and it would be nice to see, but it's not, again, just never happening. I would bet literally my existence on it. I would bet my life on it.
When was the last time we had a server browser in COD?
Black Ops. I know 2? BO1 has one on PC. I think BO2 has one on PC, but a long time ago.
Yeah, that was a cool... I mean, you can't have it now with crossplay, obviously, but that was a cool thing when it was PC only, is you could find servers you liked that were low ping and populated and only play on those, and then you'd run into the same people often, which is the same thing as like lobbies sticking together. Is you play on that server, you play against like the same people. So, but yeah, unfortunately that is literally never coming back because of crossplay now, especially. That's their excuse. Not like they'd have it anyways. They didn't in BO4 even on PC with no crossplay, but that's the excuse now, is there's crossplay, so they'd never do it.
Correct.
And my next thing, this is something, to my knowledge, we've never really gotten it. Maybe we have to a certain extent.
We have in COD, you and I haven't played.
Okay.
Kind of, I think.
So I would love custom operators. Call of Duty has been missing in this department like always. Yeah, I did like Infinite or Advanced Warfare. One of them have some sort of custom operator thing. So I'm thinking, if anyone's ever played Ghost Recon Wildlands, for example, there's 50 different shirts you get for free or for doing missions. You can buy hundreds more. There's pants, there's hats. You can make your operator look unique and customizable, and we've never had a feature like that in COD. And it's kind of shocking, because I really thought MW 2019 would bring some sort of like military-like customization, and we never saw it, because they had really solid base operators, cool like milsim operators, but you can't do anything with them. You select the 2 or 3 presets, and that's all you can do with them. I would love at some point for COD to give us a full-on customization with the operators. Let me select his shirt. I mean, everything. The guy's face, your skin color, your hairdo, anything like that would be awesome to see. And it is a little shocking that we've never gotten it in Call of Duty, especially in an Infinity Ward game. If we ever got this, it would be in an IDub game. But it's such a cool feature that makes like your character feel unique. And it's kind of odd. We've never really seen it done in a Call of Duty game before.
We have. So I don't remember which game it was, but I told this story recently where I bought and installed the most recent Jetpack COD. I don't know if that's Advanced Warfare or Infinite Warfare. Don't know, didn't play either of them. And I tried to find a game and I couldn't, and then so I left. That game had what you're describing. I don't think it had where you pick your face and your skin color and your nose width and shit like that. But it absolutely had like helmet. And then there were 5 billion helmets that you could get for challenges, you could get for bundles, microtransactions, and then torso, and then arms, and then legs, and then boots, and then weapon camos on top of that. And that is really, 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 really fucking cool. And what's very weird about this not having existed for quite a while is how much fucking money would you make on microtransactions if you could nickel and dime people 200 COD points for this like hat, like head slot apparel item. So you could get a hat, you could get a balaclava, you could get a fucking fedora, you could get a helmet, you could get a gas mask. Each one costs 200 COD points.
Imagine.
How much money would they get from me? Literally, I would spend hundreds of dollars I would not otherwise spend if there was modular customization for thing in this capacity. Change your helmet or your hat or whatever. Change your torso wear.
Yeah.
Every nickel and dime me. I'll spend buckets of money, dude.
I know, exactly.
You would make so much money off of me, and I would be happy to give it to you if you could do this. But instead, we have these dumb operator bundles where your guy's in a fucking ranchero outfit or some dumb shit, and you get stickers and emblems I don't care about with it. It's so stupid. Nickel and dime me for individual items, and you could do it this way too. Oh, we have the cowboy bundle. If you buy the cowboy bundle, you get a cowboy hat, a cowboy jacket, cowboy arms, boots, and pants. You get these 5 items that normally each cost individually 200 COD points. But if you buy the bundle, it's only 800 COD points instead of, math.
Or it's like 500 COD points. You're just saying it's cheaper if you buy the whole bundle.
Instead of 1,000 if you buy the bundle, but then you don't have to equip all of them. You could put on only the hat and the jacket, and then put on the fucking slime walker arms, and then the big dick slinging banana hammock pants if you wanted to or something. How cool would this be? And how much money would you make? So you could choose to buy the bundle or just buy only the hat. You only want the cowboy hat? That's fine. Spend 200 COD points instead of 800. You get what you want. How much money would they make? Why don't we have this? And especially because we've had it in Advanced or Infinite Warfare, whatever game that was. This would be so fucking cool. And I don't know why we don't have it. They could make so much money, and I would be so happy with it.
Because all these kids in Warzone now buy every bundle that comes out and spend $20 on every bundle to get one skin.
Yeah,
so they're making entirely too much
that.
money, so they'll never go back to it. That's what's unfortunate. It's
maybe
like,
they do make more money doing that. You're right.
Any popular streamer or YouTuber has to buy every bundle that comes out so they can show off. Dropping 30 on Rebirth with the new outfit. It's like
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah. It is just so dumb, and so they spend fucking literally thousands of dollars a year on this stuff, and so of course we're never going back to this customization because they make entirely too much money. So I
guess that must be it. They make more money.
PUBG, you can buy individual items. They have bundles, and then you can buy individual items.
Yeah, exactly.
I would love that,
bro.
Yep.
I would be the type of consumer where they'd make way more money that way.
Oh, same here.
But you're probably right that there are other consumers that they make more money on the current system. They've probably done the math. They've definitely done the math. This is what the Activision
Bobby's looked in his wallet,
do.
and it's looking pretty. It's looking thick enough. So yeah,
it's looking pretty thick.
That's
so
his math. He takes a little look in his wallet.
So this would be really cool, but yeah, I don't see it happening, honestly. And then how would they shoehorn in how liberal and inclusive they are if they didn't have their own operators instead? How would they tell us how much they like gay people if they didn't release an operator or two every season that is a non-binary trans femme foxkin who sucks cocks on Mondays and Thursdays but is asexual every other day of the week? How would they tell us how inclusive they are if there were not their own operators?
Yeah,
Maybe that's another reason why they don't do it. I don't know, but I wish they would, and we probably won't get it. Yeah.
We probably won't get custom operators this year, but probably when you load up your game and go to the operator tab, you'll probably have to select what you want your operator to identify at. He, him, they, them, she, her, it, whatever. I don't know, whatever other pronouns are. So
that's going to be the customization.
That's the customization, is you have to determine what that is. And then on the scoreboard, it'll say if you're a he, him, they, she, whatever. Yeah.
Can you imagine? I can actually.
I can.
So yeah, we kind of talked about this as well.
Yeah, that covered that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, then my last thing here was more of a meaningful challenge system. BO4, excellent challenge system. Cold War had it as well, but Cold War, I feel like, had about a third of the amount of challenges as BO4, right? Cold War had that same system where it was like, this group of challenges is for killing. this group is for
and then
this.
You get a mastery calling
and then you
card,
can do those, and then you do
that.
all those, you get like a completionist calling card. But I feel like it didn't have nearly as many, because I remember being excited when Cold War came out, because we knew it was a Treyarch game and it was going to have a system like that. But it was like, I remember thinking like, oh, this is lacking. There's like no challenges compared to BO4. So I don't know if that's actually true, but that's just the way it felt for me. But regardless, that challenge system that Treyarch has is much better than Infinity Ward's like seasonal challenge system, and I would love to see something like that. I like these categories where it's like you get this calling card that's animated and cool if you get 10, 15 kill streaks, if you get 2 nukes, and you know, with each of those challenges you complete, you get a calling card, but then when you complete that group of them, you'll get like the Killer Master calling card. That's like,
exactly.
Oh, that's dope.
That's
a cool animated
cool.
calling card. It gives you something to grind for. The Infinity Ward like seasonal challenges like almost just don't matter. I grinded like season 0 through like 2 for like the emblem for the completionist, but it's like it wasn't fun to do. It wasn't nearly as good of a system as Treyarch designs for like the calling cards and everything, and doing like completionist things for the challenges. Yeah. And you know, that's something we won't see again until Treyarch's game in 2024 probably, but I would love to see an improved upon challenge system in MW 2.
I agree. The BO4 calling card challenge, the BO4 challenge system and the rewards that came with it was actually perfect. I wouldn't even change anything about it. You could quibble about like what challenges there should be, how hard they should be, whatever, fine.
Yeah.
But the scheme was absolutely perfect. And that was one of, like you said, it's something that you grind for that gives you some motivation and some drive to continue to play the game. Killer Master was that for me. BO4, I've told this story, or I've told people this many times, not recently though. BO4 was my first FPS game on keyboard and mouse and on PC. And so when I started playing it, I was utter dog shit. And it was like really hard for me. And I probably had at the very beginning, like a 1.1 maybe KD. And that's a 1.1 BO4 KD. Actual KD was more probably like 0.7. Because if you hit one bullet and the guy dies, it gave you a kill. It was dumb. And then as I like started improving and getting more used to KBAM, I had eventually unlocked every single Killer Master calling card except for the get 115 kill streak. I couldn't get that for like weeks, and I kept trying, and then I'd get 14 and I would panic and my BPM would be 400 and then I would whiff and die and get all mad. And then eventually I finally fucking got it on Nuketown, camping second story with the really broken LMG with the crossbar. I forget what it was called. Hades? It's called the Hades
crossbar, yep.
The pre-patch Hades crossbar. I was abusing that, camping upstairs Nuketown, and I had 14 kills, and again, my heart rate just through the roof, and a guy fucking pushed me from behind, and he got first shots on, and luckily, he was even worse than I was. And I crossbarred him, gave him the classic Vundy Bop, which I don't want to see return. But I gave him the classic Vundy Bop. I got 15, and I spurted cum in my little pants. And
really?
I finally got the 15 kill streak calling card and the Killer Master calling card that had been driving me for weeks to that point, and playing game after game, trying to optimize my loadout, optimize my strategy, optimize my weapon setup. And that, it just evaporated in MW 2019.
Yeah.
I mean, all of that fun and drive and motivation and thrill and anxiety and excitement, all of it gone. Instantly gone in MW 2019. There is not even a remotely fucking close analog to grinding for something like that in MW 2019. Not even close. And then the next step was grinding for the nuke calling card, and I went through the same process. I'd get 29 fucking 8 games in a row, piss, shit, and fart in my pants, and then whiff it. And then eventually I finally got it for the calling card, and I was so happy. And all of these things were gone in MW 2019. They were gone. So that does help a lot in making multiplayer like grindable and worth playing and give you some motivation that just we haven't seen.
Yeah, it
for
sure
a long
does.
time.
That's what I did on launch with Cold War. Like I remember always grinding for those like Killer Master challenges and whatnot early on. Because I was like, ooh, like in instances where you would otherwise like push, I'm like, oh, I'm like 2 kills off getting the 20 kill streak or the 15 kill streak needed. I'm gonna hold this angle. I got to be careful, blah blah. And it was fun to do that.
True.
It does give you a reason to continue playing and doing something. Whereas, yeah, MW 2019, it was like, I was just playing and doing weapon challenges, just trying to get the mastery camo.
You get a nuke and you get nothing for it.
Yeah.
Until 6 months after launch.
True. So
insane.
But yeah, I guess that's it for the challenge system. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to get that with this next game. But we will get it with the next Treyarch title. And whenever that happens, hopefully
24 it's supposed to be.
Balance LMGs and snipers next time. And then maybe that'll be a fun game. All right. So now, last point here, while we're on the topic of wishful thinking, this is an excellent question Tanner has asked. Tanner, tell us about your little question here.
Here's our little question of the day.
Tiny question.
So, MW 2019, we got a bunch of COD 4 Modern Warfare remakes. So, we're going to give, what do you want your top 3 MW 2 maps to come back with MW 22222? Your top 3 remakes that you want to see come back. And I attached a little map list for you if you need it.
You have attached a map list, and I appreciate that. So yeah, like MW 2019 was a kind of a spiritual successor to COD 4, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. MW 2222 is going to be a spiritual successor to MW 2, so it stands to reason they're going to remaster a lot of MW 2 maps. Here's the full list of maps for the listener before we get into our top 3 here that we want remastered. Afghan, Derail, Estate, Favela, High Rise, Invasion, Karachi, Quarry, Rundown, Rust, not that one, Scrapyard, Skid Row, Subbase, Terminal, Underpass, and Wasteland.
God, Wasteland was such a bad map.
Wasteland I actually enjoyed. It was fun. It was not a good map, but it was still fun.
That was where everyone got like
you'd either rush that mid bunker and fucking noob tube the shit out of it, or you'd stand in the most random spot trying to snipe other kids sniping. It was kind of like Euphrates in that it wasn't a good map, but it was still fun, kind of because it wasn't good. That's how I saw Wasteland. Underpass was just a bad map that wasn't fun.
Yeah.
There was nothing good about Underpass. Underpass might have been the worst map in MW 2. It was really dog shit. But with that said, there are a lot of heavy fucking hitters here. Deep cuts, as we call them.
We're going to have some people molding when they hear the list.
It's going to be a toughie.
Yeah, we're going to have some molders for sure.
We're going to have some molders. So let me look through this list again. And let me get some easy ones out of the way. I think Terminal just has to be the first on my list.
Wow.
You gotta remaster Terminal.
Really?
We haven't seen Terminal in too long. It's an excellent map. It's big. It'll be good for tens modes, which MW 2, the original, did not have. So it would be cool to incorporate a map that can house 20 people and still play really well. And I think Terminal would be a fucking exceptional tens map. I think it would be super fun on tens. I would argue Terminal will play better in tens than sixes if it comes back. I would love to see Terminal come back. So that's my number one choice. What about you? Let's pick one.
Mine is Favela. I think Favela has to come back. And I think with like the setting in this game, supposedly, or there's like Mexican special forces and stuff, it's taking place more. There's something going on in South America down there. And I think Favela, which is based in Brazil, will be coming back. It's a fan favorite. Again, has there been a Favela remake ever?
Not in a real game. I think we looked this up and there was one in like some like Nintendo Switch Favela or some shit, which doesn't count.
Nintendo
so yeah.
Switch Favela. Yeah, Favela. Excellent map. That would have to be only 6s. Very fun map to play. Cool looking map too, but the one thing I would worry about in that is them putting too much clutter and shit on the map. Yeah, too many floating dust particles coming up from the streets there. So mine would for sure be Favela.
So on the topic of Favela, I wish you could remaster Favela, but hot take, Favela in a modern COD game would not play well at all. It would in fact be a dog shit map. Not because the map is bad, but because the game is bad. So for example, if you brought Terminal to MW 2019, I think it would play really well. And that's why I want it to come to the new MW 222, because I think it would play well based on the new COD experience we have to deal with, where visibility is not quite as good, minimap may or may not work as it used to, etc. Favela played excellent on the original MW 2. Would Favela play well in MW 2019? No. I would back out of that lobby. The map is good. It would play atrociously in MW 2019. Yes. It's too porous. It's not 3-lane at all. It's like 2-lane. And there are a lot of rooms, a lot of cover and buildings. The visibility would be fucking dog shit everywhere. I think Favela, if it was like ported to MW 2019, would play like death, and I would back out of it. But it's possible if we get a working mini-map again and we have better visibility and maybe a little bit of a slower TTK, that Favela would play really well. I don't think Favela is a bad map. I think it's a great map. I just don't think it would play well in MW 2019, so I would be hesitant to bring it back for MW 2. What do you... With that said, they're absolutely going to remaster Favela for this game. Yeah. There's no shot they don't. Yeah, it's coming back.
Yeah.
But yeah. So my number 2 choice, I want to pick Favela, but instead I'm going to say Afghan.
Yep, that was going to be my number 2 as well.
Afghan plays really well. I think it would play well. If they add a lot of dust like they did MW 2019 Rust, this map would be fucking dog shit also. So it's going to depend a lot on the visibility. But if they can not do that, Afghan, I think, would play really, really well. It's fairly small. It's laying out fairly well. There are a lot of long sight lines. So if there isn't a bunch of dust and shit, that would be good for a game that doesn't have a mini-map. I think Afghan would be great, and it's not too big. It's a pretty small map, actually. And I really like Afghan. So
I was thinking kind of the opposite. I was thinking Afghan because I thought it would play well in 10s because it has very long sight lines. It's a pretty big map. There's long sight lines.
I think it could play well in 10s, too.
It's essentially just... It's kind of just like a very long, like 2/3 lane map, basically. So I think 10s it would be pretty fun.
2, yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like 2, it's like a bowl, actually. It's not really 3 lanes. Mid's kind of like a bowl. But because of the plane, there's actually cover in mid.
Yeah. And like rocks and shit. And
the rocks and stuff, yeah. So mid is not just an immediate death trap, unlike many other MW maps where you just can't go mid. MW 2019, I mean.
Yep.
So yeah, number 2 is Afghan for me.
Agreed.
Your number 2 is also Afghan.
That was going to be Afghan, yep.
Okay. And then my number 3, this is going to be a spicy red hot take, and I don't think we're going to get this map back. Doesn't fit with the theme. But, by the way, Skid Row is another map I really liked. That would be the worst map of all time in MW 2019. Played well, even in MW 2, it kind of played shit. It was just a disaster, Skid Row, but it was a lot of fun. But Skid Row is not what I'm talking about. Subbase. Hot take. Subbase was a fucking awesome map, and I loved it. It was really good. I don't even remember exactly what it looks like, honestly, but I remember every time I saw Subbase, I was very happy. It played really well. It had good flow. I don't even
I
remember
feel like
if
it
it was
didn't
3
have
lanes
flow.
or not.
No, it was like clutter everywhere. It was like little tiny lanes, little passageways, I think. I feel like there weren't
like
very
portions
many
of the map, but I remember really liking sub base. They won't bring it back. It's in the fucking Siberia, so that's probably not gonna come back. Doesn't fit with the theme. But I would really like to see. I would like to play sub base again on a new COD. You disagree with that take?
Yeah, I don't know. Subbase was a fine map, but yeah, it wouldn't be in my top 3. I mean, pretty much all of these maps are at least fine.
Except Underpass.
Every map in the game, pretty much.
Yeah.
I
fucking hate Underpass. Fuck that map.
I think my number 3 would just be High Rise, because it is like a basic 3-lane map, just out in the open.
Really?
It's just kind of fighting back and forth. You don't get like really flanked and like shit spawns or anything. It's just like straight ahead, you spawn in, you run straight, you start shooting at someone. It may end up being a disaster with like mounting and stuff, I'm not sure, but I mean, High Rise has already been leaked that it's coming. It was in like the trailer on one of the roofs for MW2 already, so it's more than likely coming back. But I do think High Rise is just like a solid, like fun, easy to play, like basic sixes multiplayer map.
So High Rise is like, it's a fan favorite, and I don't really get why. I don't hate High Rise.
What's a fan favorite with like the trick shotting dipshits?
Yeah, maybe that's why. I never hated High Rise, but I never liked it. Like, there are so many better maps in MW2 that I'd rather play. I think High Rise is fine. And by the way, I'm changing my vote. I don't mean Subbase anymore. My new third vote is Rundown. This map fucked. I loved Rundown. And Rundown would play excellent in MW 2019. And for 10s also.
I don't really remember Rundown. I'm looking at screenshots.
That's why people sleep on Rundown. I didn't really think about it much either. But then I like looked at the list again. I looked at the screenshot and I was like, oh, this map was really good. And this is also in Brazil, so they actually could bring this back.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. I would love to play Rundown again. Most people don't think of Rundown. I wouldn't even, if you told me to list MW2 maps, I wouldn't even remember Rundown. But looking at the list in front of me, I'm like, oh, you know what? This map was really fucking good. I would love to see Rundown come back. And it would take the spot of Subbase instead, yeah. So Terminal, Rundown, Afghan, that's mine.
God, I really just still don't recognize it that much. It's not standing out to me so far. It looks like it would play pretty well, though, yeah.
Keep watching.
Yeah, I'm
You've definitely played it, obviously.
Yeah, I'm like skipping through areas, and I'm just like not remembering most of it, though, really. Kind of reminds me of like Crossfire almost, from like Crossfire and like Crash combined or something from COD 4. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like a pretty solid map.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't remember this one.
Huh. Okay.
I played MW1 way more than MW2 though, so I don't remember all the maps that clear.
So yeah. So that's it for this episode. Let us know in the comments, what would your 3, I'm a YouTuber now. Let me know in the comments, what would your 3 MW2 original release only, no DLC bullshit, original maps would you most like to see remastered and brought back to MW2? Let us know down low in the comments. Best justification gets a pinned comment. I'll pin your comment if you give me a list of 3 maps and you explain why and it makes sense.
Someone's
don't
molding
just copy
that I didn't
us
say
and
terminal.
then say, and then I'm going to pin it. What'd you say?
Someone's molding that I didn't say terminal in my top 3.
Oh yeah, you didn't say terminal, huh?
Yeah.
Why not Yeah, hold on. I'm molding now too. I just realized this. Why High Rise instead of Terminal? You think High Rise is a better map than Terminal?
Terminal, I think, would be full of campers in a new COD. People just play like pussies now, kind of, actually.
There aren't that many spots to camp on Terminal. There's the part where you're entering...
Camp every lane. What do you mean? You sit at the end of the lane and with a sniper and aim down it.
Well, yeah, but then you don't have cover. And you know where people are going to be camping there. When I get mad at campers, it's on Grozno Raid where they're in a random room that like you don't expect. But on a map where there's like one lane and people are always behind this counter, you know someone's going to be there. It's not that bad that they're camping it. I don't know. I don't know.
I always thought that was one of the most overrated COD maps of all time.
That's so weird, dude. I love Terminal.
Yeah, I don't know. Boring.
There's a little office roof. you can camp on.
That little office, like outside by like the
it's
main
like outside
glass
and you're
hallway.
looking at glass hallway. Yeah. 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 But it's like, that's the thing about good maps where people camp. This is true. People camped there. People camped where the stewardess would take your boarding pass before you board the plane behind that desk. People camped that shit all the time. And people camped the cockpit. Those were the 3 big camping spots on Terminal. But the thing about a good map is, you know where people camp, so you can, like, even though it's a good spot for someone to be, it's a power position, because you know someone's there, you can play around that pretty easily. Unlike a bad map where people camp, Grozno Raid, people can camp fucking everywhere. And that's what gets you fucked, is because you don't expect someone in this 1 out of 2,000 corners they could be crouched in, and then they kill you. That's when camping is, like, unplayable. But in Terminal, it's like, yeah, people do camp all that shit. I grant that. But if you know they're there, you can counter snipe, counter shoot, not run that way.
Yeah, they'll just be mounted with an LMG down glass hallway, and you'll only be able to see their left cheek as they're.
I mean, you're not wrong about
out,
that.
So.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they'll also have 4 claymores set up behind them, probably.
Yeah. Interesting.
I wouldn't be mad if Terminal came back. I just think it's probably the most overrated Call of Duty map of all time.
That's wild.
Everyone's gonna get so fucking rock hard though when Terminal's out in season 1 and the Intervention comes out in season 1, and they're gonna lose their little fucking minds, man.
Yeah, they're gonna lose their minds, yeah, for sure. So, anyway, let us know down below in the comments, what your top 3 favorite, or excuse me, not necessarily your favorite, because Favela's in my top 3 favorite, but I don't want it to come back. I don't think it'll play well. The top 3 maps from MW2 you want to see remastered for MW 22222. Let us know down below in the comments. That's it for this episode. As always, let us know your thoughts and opinions. What do you guys wish for that we did not wish for in MW 22222? Let us know down below in the comments. That would be great. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. Patreon.com/thedropshot. Best way to support the show. 7 bonus episodes a month, monthly hangouts, and more. Have an excellent evening, of course, and as always, remember, stay humble.
Stay humble.